Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to this lovely hump day edition to the Logistics Lounge. We are here like we are every week, 3 days a week, talking trucking logistics and what the hell ever we want to talk about. Why don't y'all come on in, grab a seat, pop a top, and enjoy the show. Hunter,
Rob, Pedro.
how you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's another beautiful day in the world of freight. Um it's a little chilly here in Nashville today, 47 degrees, but we had some good thunder boomers here the past couple days. So it's been doing the damn thing, booking some freight, trying to end it on the good foot, this whole week. How about yourself?
Bro, I'm good, man. My week's been pretty good too. Just same thing as everybody else, I guess, man. Just moving some freight, making some connections, getting stuff done for the lounge. Um, you know, we finally got all our stuff set up for Matt's.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. Hotel and all of that. I know you and I said this, but I'm gonna just say this to people on the air, but I still can't believe that we were able to get a hotel like right across the
Oh
street.
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, everybody out there is saying you can't get a hotel within the month of Matt's. You're highly mistaken. We are walking distance to the expo center, and I hope they got some bird scooters out there because I'm about to tear up Louisville and hit some
Dude, that
sick
would be
jumps.
oh, that would be so fun, man. I got to ride some of those when I was in San Antonio at a convention with some people, dude. And dude, those things were so fun, bro. Only thing that was crazy about them is they have these zones that, like, once you enter them, the
Oh
scooter
yeah,
like shuts off. Bro, I was like, what the hell? My shit died.
yeah, dude. I was there in the early days of Bird, man. Like we'd be bombing some hills. I think my top speed was 28 miles an hour, and that was
Yeah,
after
dude.
a couple lunch beers and yikes. Probably a good thing. I've seen some natural disasters happen on those.
Bro, they are super fun, and I could see how they're dangerous. I mean, obviously, not just because it's a scooter and you're driving to traffic, but it's like, man, like they go a lot faster than you would think they do. Is to me what the dangerous part
They're
is, man.
mean machines, brother. They're mean machines.
They are, dude. They are. I love those things. They were so fun. We got a great guest for y'all today. We've actually tried to have him on before, but he ghosted us. But we didn't hold that against him. We told him he got one more chance not to screw this up, and he came through. And we are so happy to have him. Before we do, we're going to give some love to our sponsor real quick, and then we're going to do a quick snippet of the news. An article that I think is really, really funny. I think everyone else is going to enjoy it as well. What else you're going to enjoy is when you do business with Shoreline Capital. Y'all know what they do. They've been a sponsor on the show forever. People are hitting them up every day because we are telling you how awesome they are. And we tell you how awesome they are because, well, they're awesome. And as Hunter says, it's a sure thing with Shoreline. Hey, Hunter, dude, can you go to LinkedIn, bro, and tell me if you see the lounge? Like, I don't
That's
see
what
it
I just
streaming.
messaged you. We might have got banned. I don't know.
Why would we have got banned?
I have no idea. It says it's streaming. It might just be glitching out. You know how LinkedIn is. That's why
Yeah,
we're making the move over to the X space, Freight
yeah,
X.
that
We,
sucks,
we
bro.
we got the boys in here. I mean, shit. We got 8 people watching on our
There it
stream.
is. It looks like your live stream isn't showing up on LinkedIn. Man, what the heck, dude?
All right, I'll just try and fix it real quick. But
All right, okay,
continue
all right.
on. Continue
You do,
on.
yeah, you do that. I'm gonna chop out this news real quick, and and then we'll get all over to talking to Mr. Urban here. So, All righty, Spidey. As you see right here on your screen, husband accused of making 1.8 mil off of insider trading from eavesdropping on wife's work from home calls. Y'all are going to be stunned by how this guy made $1.8 million. So I made notes for this, but they apparently do not save. So we're going to freestyle it here and just kind of go over the article. Guy faces charges for insider trading after he made $1.76 million on the stock market. The SEC announced the charges against Tyler Luden on Thursday, alleging he purchased 46,450 shares in a company that was later sold to BP. BP announced in February 2023 that it was purchasing TA, or Travel Centers of America. This gentleman overheard that call with his wife because she, as you can see, is a former merger and acquisitions manager with BP. So he, honed in on a conference call that she had, heard them talking about doing the acquisition and buying them out. And he went out and purchased a ton of freaking stock and made $1.7 million off of it. So, pretty, I don't know, man. That's so funny to me. It really is.
Oh, dude, is this the guy that was listening in on his wife?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I watched the video on it last night. So apparently she's she does something with him. She's a part of the acquisitions team, and he was like eavesdropping on her and then made all those millions and then spilled the beans. So she reported him, she got fired. Now he's going to prison and they filed for divorce. So, and he owes the IRS more money than he even made. So that guy is screwed for life.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Dude,
nuts.
It didn't say all that in the article. It just kind of pretty much ends with, right there with the remote working, and it didn't say anything about the divorce or any of that stuff, man. But I get it, man. Hey, he obviously cost her job. She got fired.
She told on him and then she got fired.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Huge L for the husband. You're right, Adam. That is a huge L. Hey, all y'all boys over there on X, be sure to reshare this and give us some love, because LinkedIn is not giving us the love right now. So
I know that's so weird. I don't know what's going on, bro. I hope
I'm making a push right now.
Okay. Hope we didn't get in trouble, like you said, bro.
No, I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
I think freaking out.
I just think LinkedIn's going through some changes right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if our profile picture is now a square, so I feel like there's probably some IT issues going on in the background.
I guess you're right. I was going to say they've had a lot of other chances to take us down. So I don't think that anything recent is something that made their.
If you reported us, we will find you.
That's yes we will. That we freaking will. Without making you guys and gals wait anymore, we're going to get to the man, the myth, the almost legend, Mr. Will Urban.
Rocket.
Hey guys,
how you doing, Will?
Mr. Will?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're fantastic.
Another day in the lounge.
Better now that you're here, brother.
I didn't ghost you guys. I just screwed my schedule up.
Oh man, we gotta give you a little bit of jazz,
Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't ghost you guys. So.
We run a tight ship over here, man.
Yeah, I can see this is a Swiss watch all the way around. Yeah.
Oh man, Hunter, that is a good one. I'm pinging that one. I can tell this is Swiss. That's a great way. It's a great way to start stuff, man. Talking crap to the host, man. You're off.
Well, it's funny, I met this guy who was a Swiss guy early in my career that worked for Kuhn & Nagel, and I worked for Expeditors, and he used to say, "None of you American forwarders are Swiss watch. We make them watch." Meaning that we weren't very precise, Anyway, it's always stuck with me.
All right, man. So, as Hunter always begins with people, who is Will Urban? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and how you've got to the current role that you're in with LuckyTruck.
Sure. Well, I've been in supply chain since right out of college. So when I was 22 years old, I had an internship at the Port of Seattle, and I met the founder of Expeditors, which is, most people probably know who Expeditors is. It's a $18 billion market cap freight forwarder at this point, and the headquarters were in Seattle. They were a $400 million company at the time. He told me I was wasting my life working for the government, and he hired me as a management trainee, which basically meant I picked up a lot of people at the airport and ran documents around, and just did young person grunt work. And I spent 25 years there, and I lived and worked in multiple locations, and they were wonderful to me and kind of taught me. A lot of people taught me from the ground up, from an operations level, how freight forwarding logistics works. And of course, trucking and domestic delivery was a huge part of that. I had multiple roles. The last role I had there, I was regional vice president and managed one of the really large regions of the world, and we reported into the C team. And loved it. Great people there, but I was flying around all over the world like nonstop. Got a little burnt on it, and my wife convinced me to take a year off. And I left. And everybody thought I was crazy for leaving my job. I took a year off. Got pulled into some consulting work after that year, which led me to meet Ryan Peterson, who's the founder of Flexport. And Ryan hired me to consult to him. And a couple hours became a couple of days, and I was there all week. And he hired me finally as a chief revenue officer. And I spent 4.5 years there up until August of last year. And decided it was time to kind of do some things on my own. So I kind of do three things. I'm on the boards of a few companies like LuckyTruck, which I know we're going to talk about. These companies are all around supply chain tech or ancillary services to supply chain, like insurance for trucking companies and that kind of thing. I'm a partner in a couple of venture capital firms that that are really tied to supply chain, make investments. And then I do a lot of advisory work, working with a lot of kind of C-level, executive level people in the freight forwarding, trucking, supply chain software areas. And that's turned into a full-time job, those three things together. So that's what I do.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you got to love the journey though, but
Well, I'm 52.
it's not always a bad situation to get tired of traveling. I bet you
Yeah.
saw some cool things out there.
I did, especially when I was at Expeditors. As a young man, I got to see a lot of the world. They had me on planes all over the place, and you just learn things. And you learn things, and you make friends and relationships with people all over the place. And I think,
Yeah, man.
yeah, you have a healthy perspective. It's like, hey, I'm a proud American, but that doesn't mean that we do everything the best. And there's a lot of different ways to approach things, and a lot of different companies and thought processes, and you learn a lot of that from traveling and being engaged with people around the world. So that's been a real blessing, and something that's really kind of scoped my worldview and how I think about things is all that time traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we dig into LuckyTruck, I gotta ask, what was your favorite place that you traveled to, and why?
Well, work or pleasure or both.
Both.
Um, so work, I I love going back and forth. I used to do this kind of tech triangle of San Francisco, Amsterdam, Singapore, because in the area I had responsibility for with Expediter, sorry, we were heavily into those kind of Silicon Valley tech companies, and that was a lot of the stuff I was responsible for. And they're either based in the Bay Area, Amsterdam, or Singapore, and those were their European and Asian hubs. And so I loved all that. I love Amsterdam, and I think Singapore, if you're going to live in Asia, is the best place in Asia personally. And so I love those places. For strictly fun, my family and I have been in Switzerland a few times, and we really love that whole thing there. It's beautiful. People are great. It's crazy expensive, but whether
Yeah.
it's skiing or hiking or being in those big cities, I'm a huge fan. I could see myself living there, in the future. If I thought of any place outside the U.S., I would live probably Switzerland.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That Swiss Alps and just their way of life, I could definitely get behind that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
well, so we talked about you working in drones before here, but before we get into all of that, tell us about LuckyTruck, man. What you got going on over there in that neighborhood of insurance?
Yeah. Well, Lucky Truck's interesting because Well, first, how I got involved there is the CEO of LuckyTruck ran the insurance product for Flexport. And I was always a big fan of hers and thought she was super smart, really knew the industry and how to apply it, knew the insurance industry and how to apply it to the logistics and supply chain world. And, Flexport still has a great insurance product, but, it was one of like 20 different things we were trying to get done at Flexport. And it just didn't,
Right.
I never felt like it got to where it could have been under her leadership. And she honestly got a little frustrated with that and left and became CEO of this company. And what Lucky Truck does through technology is they bring the insurance market um, at a real affordable price for the smaller kind of mid-sized enterprise down family. Like it's like a dad and three of his sons that are truckers or family member. Just the majority of truckers in the U.S. Right
Right.
brings that buying power to them. Also kind of demystifies a lot of the complexity that goes around with being properly insured and how you deal with all that. And a lot of people who run these trucking companies, who I have tremendous respect for because they keep the American economy going, bar none. Um, it's one of those thankless 24/7 jobs that a lot of people just don't realize. All these men and women that are driving trucks, how hard that is and how critical it is to
Oh
our
yeah.
economy and our infrastructure. The whole idea is how do we make it easy for them so they can focus on the work that they do best, and how can they access things in a mobile environment, on their phone, or they're waiting for a load, or they can do their business easily instead of hiring insurance brokers and you know um, getting all that information in English that makes sense. Some of it is so trodden with um, legalese and all kinds of terms that I know I struggle with, and I've been around it a long time. It's not that they can't understand it; it's just trying to make it easy for them, right? So they can move on and
Right.
get it placed. And so that's where Lucky Truck really comes in. And they've done a wonderful job of, um, accomplishing that. And so, my role with them is just trying to get them introduced to more people that I know in my network, whether it be buyers of it or trucking companies that they partner with to get to their owner ops this product. And there's also a lot of like digital platforms and mechanisms to get Lucky Truck to these customers, whether it be working with some really big digitized freight brokers, or, being on their platform, whether it could be white labeled in the background, it could be, a portal to the Lucky Truck site, it could be API and EDIs that are, driving those connections and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of the conduit of that for Julie, who's the CEO, Julie Zimmer, and just helping them grow. And they're at this unique spot where Julie kind of took over and it was a mess. Their expenses were out of line. They tried a lot of things, and she and kind of triaged the whole thing with a great leadership team that she's got there now. And they've got expenses in line. They're really growing. They've got great tech. They keep iterating on the tech and making it better. And when I say make it better, it's just all about making it really easy for the client, who's
Right.
again most of the time that smaller trucking company. And so we're really hip on their prospects and their ability to grow. So
Yeah.
it's been
Absolutely.
fun
I
being
mean,
involved with it.
yeah. Not even being a truck driver before. I mean, even just with your car. I mean, insurance
Yeah.
is a headache. So the fact that you're
Yeah. Looks like
trying to
you're on
make it
Twitter then.
easier. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. Rob, your page is still being shared. I'm gonna break that down. But sorry, what were you saying, Will?
Well, I just say, yeah, exactly right. And I think it's kind of one of those like really unsexy, unfun parts of the business, but every owner of a trucking company or independent driver, it's got to deal with it. And so, how do we
It's
make it?
sexy if it's saving you
Yeah,
money.
yeah, exactly. Well, and you got to more importantly, you got to protect yourself, right? You got the right
Yeah.
coverages in place because if you've been driving long enough, something goes wrong. Something's stolen, you get in an accident. You really got to make sure you got the right coverages in place, and you understand where that liability or where that coverage begins and ends, so you can really manage your business well. And so they do a really great job of providing that to those people.
Well, I want to chime in because one of the reasons, actually the reason that I reached out to you is because a friend of mine that I was helping with his truck company, we directly did business with Lucky Truck. And so when I saw that article come out, and I was like, oh man, like, dude, this would be great to have these people on the show, because we've talked about insurance before. And as you said, insurance can kind of be the thing that no one, wants to talk about. They just know they need it. But it's an important thing to talk about, man. It is, because what you just said, having the right coverages and, knowing what you need and having someone that can guide you, through the process and give you options and make things affordable. That is probably the big thing right there. Truck insurance is just ridiculously expensive, especially if you're a new operator. But man, when we were with LuckyTruck, like the ways that y'all gave us to save money were freaking awesome, man. Like, it was, hey, here's the rate, but if you let us send you our dash cam, we'll drop the rate even further. If we can have you do these things and this thing, we can lower the rate even further. And so I want to say that my buddy, I think he is still with y'all, but it was the lowest rate that he had gotten, and he had been with Progressive and one other local place in Texas, and y'all were the first ones to bring him under $2,000 a month, and I think it was $1,700 a month is what he was paying, and he had really, really good coverages, and I think that's great that y'all have things like that allow carriers to lower their rate if they just do a couple things and help y'all see, hey, our driver's safe. Like, look, here's the camera. You can see they're not doing anything crazy. And also like the alerts that we used to get from y'all, because even though I got them for Motive, like I would get alerts saying, hey, the camera went off and this has happened. And so just everything y'all have got going on over there and basing it around technology, I think is really, really spectacular. A lot of insurance companies kind of are stuck in the old ways and aren't looking for new ways to help people save money on their carrier insurance.
Yeah. Well, listen, first of all, I'm glad we're recording this because you're going to make Julie Zimmer cry. That'll be the loveliest thing she's heard all week. She'll be so excited to get that kind of feedback. That's wonderful. I think what you hit on is actually a lot of these things are designed for that mid-enterprise company up, like the guy with 100 trucks and 100 drivers. And it's the products are really curtailed to the smaller company, but those are the vast majority of people actually purchasing insurance, right? And so, at least in the United States, and so it's an underserved market. And I think the things you talked about have driven a lot of loyalty to them. But they're just kind of getting known in the marketplace, and pushing out a lot of campaigns to get in front of as many truckers as you can. And anyone who's listening to this, who's in that space, it's really worth your time to get on the website, give us a little information, and someone will get back to you right away with a competitive quote. And hopefully we'll be able to save you a little money and give you a better product.
Well, how do people find you? I mean, you're on LinkedIn, obviously, under Will Urban.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, well, LuckyTruck's just LuckyTruck.com. How people find me is just best ways. Yeah, if you just type Will Urban into LinkedIn, I'm usually, I don't know if there's other Will Urbans, but mine usually comes up. You'll find me. And reach out to me. Ping me on I go back and forth with people in the messaging app all the time. There's information on there to get to my website and other stuff, and it's really easy to get hold of me.
Awesome. Well, Rob, you got any other stuff to talk on LuckyTruck before we get into this drone stuff?
I do, man. I do. And Will, I'm sorry, man. I'm listening to you, bro. I'm trying to get this last load booked for the day. So
go for it.
Please don't think that I'm ignoring you, man. Like every show, this is what happens. Like I'm done with my day, and then it's message.
Right. Yeah, so, you got a day job on top of this. I understand.
Yeah. That's it, man.
Yeah, I was almost in the same boat, but thank God for Rain Dogs Trucking, because our asset's picking it up last minute.
That's good.
So here is one thing that I think is important, man, is, and I talked to you about this in the DM, is, what is LuckyTruck's mission and path and maybe their ultimate goal for what they're doing? And don't say, hey, to be $1 billion company. That's the easy answer. Give us the hard answer, Will.
I think there's a lot of different actual paths for LuckyTruck in the sense that their main goal is to just try to get as much insurance options to these, mid-sized to smaller trucking companies as possible, right? And the belief is that just builds a lot of loyalty, and people come back, and it's like we talked about earlier, right? Insurance is one of those things, like your personal insurance. Do you go shop it out every year? No, it's like a pain in the ass. If it's working and you relatively think you're in market with it paying, you just renew it every year, right? So as long as they stay in there, we just want to make this easy button for our clients, right? And so that's number one. The path of Lucky Truck can honestly be a lot of different things. I mean, there's already feelers out from other insurance companies and brokers to purchase them, become a part of other companies. Um, the tech is just really good because the user interface is so good and simple. It's powerful but simple to use. It's powerful in the background, and that's really their main goal. I don't know that they really. I don't know if it's $1 billion company, but I think it's a really nice company that's got a whole bunch of different sort of paths that it could go down. Um, Julie's uh, you know she's I don't want to piss her off and guess what her age is, but she and I are kind of in the same universe there. But she's got this team behind her, a bunch of younger people that have a really great mix of freight insurance and tech background. So they know the business, number one. They know what truckers are going through. They know how they operate. They know what they need. So they speak the language. So I think people kind of that comes through in the Lucky Truck website, and then when you actually talk to people together, those people really want to make a run for it, man. They want to build this into a huge company, and I would get out of the way. So I have no idea where it's going to end up, 5 years from now, other than the fact I would bet on it that it's going to be a very successful, larger company than it is now.
I would agree with you on that as well, man. Because we talk about a lot of things that are predatory in our industry, especially towards carriers. And
Mm-hmm.
man, like insurance is one of them, dude. Like there are companies out there that even though there's not any real what we call three-letter monsters in the insurance world, how there's all the bad brokers and stuff seem to be three-letter acronyms. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we now consider anyone that does bad business is a three-letter monster. Point is, man, there's a lot of these insurance companies that they're very predatory, man, when it comes to these especially new entry carriers. These ones that they're like, oh, hey, you don't have any experience, and they use all these excuses. Well, I say excuses, all these reasons. Oh, you're a new company, you're this, you're that, the driver, so forth and so on. And it's all these things to like compound your rate by making you a humongous risk. I'll use my buddy as an example. His driver he had, even though the company, when he had got insurance, obviously was new, the driver he had been driving for like 10 years, had a stellar freaking record, man. No tickets, no anything. And none of that got taken into account. It was just all my buddy's company and his time in service and all these other things. And I say again, it wasn't until he came to y'all that like things like that were taken into account. And also, the fact that y'all have choices, man, with who we can do business with on your platform. Sometimes you call agents and it's one or two different insurance companies they work with,
Yeah.
and that's the only choice you get. You know what I'm saying? And so I really like that, man. Really just the offering that y'all have. I think that is really a strong point that y'all got going. Do y'all are y'all now, or do you have in the plans to step outside of trucking insurance and say maybe do stuff for brokers or any kind of other types of insurance, or is that y'all's main focus?
I could see truck brokers possibly, but I don't think that would be as far a stretch because the whole idea is kind of what you said, right? The people that are helping drive decisions with the underwriters, like saying, "Hey, listen, you got to understand, you're not broad brushing that trucker. You really understand their business and that, and so they don't want to get away from that, right? They're really deep in the trucking world. That's who their clients are. That's where their expertise are. When you were talking about it's predatory and stuff, a lot of times these guys are selling like auto insurance and home insurance and DO policies and things like that, and they want to insure your truck. Um, they're not experts. They don't understand the industry, and so the problem is that poor trucker gets kind of hit with this broad cloth of, well, hey, we've got these broad criteria. You've only been in business for less than 6 months, so we can't give you any better rate than this. Yeah, you might not have any accidents, but you also don't have a driving record that's been clean for the last 3 years because you just started the company 6 months ago. Um, LuckyTruck does a little better job of just working with underwriters to get to better rates because they understand the business and they can talk about that trucker with the underwriter, and that again helps them get to the better price. I also think the thing you talk about with predatory as well is that so many of these truckers are getting asked to sign up for more and more liability, and
Yeah.
shippers, they confuse the invoice value of what's on the conveyance with the revenue that the trucker makes. You could have $1 million worth of cargo on a trailer, but or it could be $10,000 worth of cargo. The trucker gets paid the same way, right? And so there's no way that a trucker can be responsible for the invoice or the commercial invoice value of those goods, but a lot of times they're forced into, and that's why that insurance is just so important because one issue could tank their company. It's just so important.
I am so glad you brought that up. Are you done with your thought?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, oh, man, Hunter, you're going to love this. I'm sorry, man. You're going to love this. I
Dig
can't
in.
remember who it was we talked to. Oh, it was Matt Leffler. Do you know Matt, Will?
That sounds familiar. What is
The
Matt?
armchair attorney. You've got to.
Oh, I know who that is. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Matt's freaking amazing. All right, so you were talking about these, just talked about the, getting more and more insurance. So what is your thought about this bill that is being pushed through? I think it's Senate, maybe it's made it to Congress, but it is a bill that is trying to get pushed through about raising the minimum level of insurance for drivers from $100,000 or $1 million to $5 million, and pushing up the cargo insurance to like $500,000. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that is. I mean, I don't want to sound like an ass, but it's just bullshit. I mean, you're totally kind of bayoneting the wounded, if you will, right? There's little margin in trucking anymore, and then you're asking these people to, double or triple cover with insurance coverage that load. Sure, if you're willing to pay more for that load, knock yourself out, right? If you want to, but this idea that this coverage, that we're going to force it on drivers or owner ops or whoever owns the trucking company, it's just cutting into their margin, and it's a total risk transfer from a larger company to the small guy in my mind. I mean, that's just what's going on there, and that's when you start talking about like kind of predatory stuff. That's where you can see these larger insurance companies, and that's who's really driving it at the end of the day. Because say you're a shipper and you're either brokering a load or you're contracting directly with the trucking company, your insurance company is telling that shipper to negotiate more insurance or more liability on a contract so that shipper can decrease the risk to that insurer of a claim, and the insurer is going, hey, we'll lower your rate. So it just all kind of funnels down to the final person in the supply chain there, which is the trucker is holding the bag. I think it's awful. And that's just my personal opinion on it. And then what you're really doing, what all these idiots in Congress and everybody don't understand, is you're making people leave the trucking industry. And then what's going to happen? There's been times where there's been shortage of drivers and there haven't been, but if you're going to take on all that risk if you're forced to take on all that risk and expense with very little upside, who wants to be in trucking anymore? And then you're going to see a real problem. And so I have a hard time with all of it. There's inherent risk with shipping things. Now, listen, there's some bad actors, like you mentioned, some of these brokers and people that are doing unethical things and all that. But I think I think 95% of brokers and trucking companies, they're honest people. They're just going out and doing a job every day. They're doing their best they can. They got no other motive other than take care of their customers and make a little money. And then so you got some bad actors in there, which you're kind of penalizing the herd for a few people that are doing dumb things or are not safe drivers that are not maintaining their vehicles or whatever. Vast majority of people I run into in this industry are honorable people. They're just trying to make a good living, and now we're going to penalize them with making them, a federal law requirement that says that they have to carry this much insurance.
I know. Don't you love it? It's to me, it's kind of and it sounds like a reach, but it's kind of the same way that politicians love promoting war. It's always the ones that aren't in the trenches that want you to spend more money or do something that they don't or won't. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
None of us are truck drivers. We don't even know how to start a semi truck, but we think that you need to have more insurance.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right, exactly. Well, all right. The one I equated to that's probably a little more germane to the trucker is this whole mandate on 100% electrified vehicles in
Oh, don't
California
get
by a
us
certain
started.
period of time. So listen, I'm a proponent of clean energy. I have a Rivian pickup truck. That's what I drive. I drive an electric truck. It's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's great technology. It's awful to charge it on the road. The infrastructure is not there. And I'm just one guy in his Rivian pickup truck, driving down I-5 or something. You can't take a road trip in it because half the time you get to a charging station, they're totally full. It's not like a gas station where you're around 10 minutes. It takes an hour to charge that thing to full capacity. It's broken, or some guy parked his car there and is charging and took a 3-hour lunch somewhere and you can't get, the infrastructure just is not there. Multiply that by like 29 million, and that would be mandating trucking to electric vehicles. Like, how's an over-the-road guy going to do that? It might work on short hops, like intra-port or intra-city or local deliveries where you can run all day and come back and charge it. But there's just like no forethought to any of that. There's this guy that runs a Harbor Trucking Association in Long Beach. His name's Matt. I'm blanking on his last name, but he's been making this point to Congress and everybody else for years. And ultimately, it's just going to kill again the local trucking company that's got a couple tractors or they got a couple drivers. And now they're going to make them convert to these really expensive electric vehicles. And then, by the way, if the infrastructure is not there, they're just going to be parked everywhere waiting to be charged. And then it's going to cork the whole supply chain. And just, the whole thing is ridiculous. And again, I think we have to move away from get the energy independent, from oil. I think that those things all make sense to me, but over time, in a more thoughtful manner, I think everybody kind of agrees big picture that's the right way to go, but no thought to that. And I think the same thing about this insurance stuff. I just think somebody got lobbied in Congress and all of a sudden it's a bill, and the small trucker is going to pay for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And man, like, you have no idea how hard it is right now to control myself not to go on an EV rant.
Rob loves EVs. If you didn't know,
dude, I love it because I can crush anyone in the EV argument. And not that I'm super intelligent about it, but like everyone that talks to me about it, I don't know. I'm like, dude, there is no logical thought behind this entire thing. But I agree with you, man. I think that is a better example. And again, like I had said, and the point you were making is it's all these people who have no skin in the game, but they have to make their sponsors happy. That's what it is. They have to make their sponsors happy and do what these people lobbying them and pushing these things are doing. And it's like you said, it's we're forcing carriers who are already struggling with everyday cost, to go and spend more money. And it's like, okay, hey, that's great. But are the freight rates going to go up with that? Like, is something going to change to help offset those costs? Oh, no, it's not. We're just going to add more cost to you. That's all. We haven't thought about anything else except for making more money off of you. So, right. I say it a lot, man, that carriers are the easy targets because, dude, Sage, if you want to get banned from the show, that is a good way to do it. Anyway, he's just messing around. He loves to stir the pot. That's what Sage likes to do. Sorry, man. Oh, completely lost my thought. Poof, gone. Don't know what
Well,
it is.
I'll chime in on it. I mean, the EV thing, it's like this AI stuff, like, or even taking it further back than that. It's like the internet. Like, it came out and people were like, "Oh, this is just a fad. It's never going to stick." Well, you know what? Here we are 30 years later almost since it came out. Like, it's inevitably going to happen to a certain degree. Like, not everybody uses the internet. Not everybody uses the internet for the same thing, but like EV trucks, like, sure, it could be a thing, but I don't think it'll ever fully take over, like, where there's never gonna be any truck drivers,
Well,
like, that.
I'm kind of more like let the free market economy dictate that.
Yeah,
Meaning,
and if they're gonna I mean, they're gonna do it, like, no, we're never gonna stop it, like, you're in Rivian, dude. I remember when Rivian first, like, hit the market,
I
a
will
few
say
years
those are
back.
some cool looking
Yeah,
trucks.
they're
Like I don't,
sick.
well,
I don't
yeah,
like
I'm just
Tesla.
honest with you. I was more interested in the technology than I was about the EV part of it. The tech on a
Yeah.
car is just crazy. But listen. I mean, if a trucking company or a shipper or somebody can find a place where EV trucking fleet makes sense, and there are some applications that I'm sure it makes sense. Great. It's mandating it to people when there's no infrastructure to support it. That's just
Oh, yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about the environmental argument, whether what side of the fence you're on, whatever, whether you believe in the EV or not. It could apply to anything. But how do you mandate something where there's no infrastructure to support it? And
Yeah.
this idea that the government's going to get us there in California by like 2030 or whatever. Well, I lived in
Yeah,
California for a long time.
2035, good
There,
luck.
there,
I can tell you it's not going to happen. So yeah.
that
Yeah.
that state can't even balance a damn budget. So I mean, I have zero faith in anything else that they say. Anyway, Hunter, we're gonna save the rest of the EV thing for after Will because I don't want to travel too far because I love this and we will easily go off on a tangent here. To end though, Will, I agree with you on that. Like mandating something is that we don't have it for. That's the big deal is the infrastructure. And one of my favorite key points that I'd heard from someone is, oh, we'll just get all the shippers to install charging things. Okay, who's going to pay for that? You think these shippers are going to willy-nilly just chunk out millions of dollars to install a bunch of damn charging machines at every dock? Like, good luck with that, man. Um, Here is something that I really want to ask and see where you guys stand on this. I hope I'm not going to put you on the spot with this. And if you don't have an answer, that's just perfectly fine. But you can go find the answer and get back to me. We are huge in the logistics lounge about doing our part in fighting fraud. And one of the things that is a very important, I could say, maybe first hurdle, or I don't know, I can't think of the phrasing, is insurance. We see a lot of people that are, falsifying and getting fake insurances through companies, and I know that y'all are kind of an intermediary, y'all, bring the information, you take it to the providers that you have, but, do y'all have steps in verifying who these people are beyond, just what they put on their application?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're vetting any of those new applicants to make sure they're legit businesses, for sure. You know, I know that there's a lot of that going on where there's people that are producing like uh, uh, fake proof of insurance where there's no
Yeah.
underwriter behind it. I don't think there's too many, underwriters that are writing insurance policies based on fake information because that would be horrible to them, right? Because they're not going to be able to. They're if someone has a bad record or is doing nefarious things, they don't want to have a business relationship with them. I know LuckyTruck doesn't at all. It's once they put stuff online and we start talking to them and they vet it out, it's pretty hard for somebody to like fake that through that process with LuckyTruck. And I think most legit insurance brokers or insurance underwriters, same thing. That's why I said again, I don't this there's kind of this narrative go on that like all you truck brokers are evil and you're triple brokering loads and you don't care about safety or who's driving and all that. That has never been my experience. I actually think that that's a very short you know that that's a short-lived thing. You might make a couple bucks on something, but it's going to catch up to you and then your reputation's toast and you can't get anybody to work with you in the industry. Um, Having said that, there's definitely some bad actors and things like that. And so
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but no, I mean, they really try to vet the people that they're going to underwrite to, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, to touch on what Rob was saying, I mean, I have heard some horror stories where there are, just some people out there that will do anything. They'll write it up for, they're a part of this whole organization. These double brokers. We're getting a quadruple brokering at this point, but um, even with COIs, like a lot of people don't check that. They don't see that someone's literally just photoshopping a document, and they just see
Yeah,
that and they're like, okay, that's cool. But they don't take the
yeah,
time to email, the underwriter or whoever's doing it to say like, hey, is this legit? And that's where you see a lot of cats getting in trouble, and that's what these smaller brokerages, and they just don't know. They
right,
don't know. So
right. Well, or I have heard of truckers buying what they thought was a legit insurance policy from an insurance broker that's fraud, right? And they haven't really written anything behind it. And then of course when a claim comes in, you can't find those people. They disappeared. They've created another company. They've moved on. It's like kind of a big pyramid thing. And that's why it's really important. Anybody listening to this is like, you want to use somebody like LuckyTruck or vet to make sure that's a legit company that you're purchasing insurance from. And it's okay to ask, like, hey, if you're talking to LuckyTruck, ask them, how do I know you're legit? And they'll take you through all the things that you can validate who they
yeah.
are and their legitimate business. So
Well, I feel like if you got an actual brain in your head, it shouldn't be too difficult to decipher between a legit
yeah, I
insurance
mean,
provider and
people
not.
fall for all kinds of scams, right? I mean, it's.
What's
I'd
that
like to
five
think
letter saying? Too good to be true. Like
true.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
right.
even
Hey, but
as a
everybody's had
broker.
a moment, right, Hunter? Everybody's had a moment where you're like, boy, that was dumb. I should have paid more attention to that.
Oh yeah,
I,
dude.
I
Oh
easy, I
yeah.
easy buttoned that when I should have like asked 10 more questions, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
be in this mess.
get all
Yeah.
ramped up. You need something in the moment, and you're like,
Well, that's it, right?
yes, I got that strike of luck.
Right.
And then it just
Or the too good to be true thing. If you're a trucker shopping insurance, and
yeah,
someone offers you something like 40% below market of anyone else, you got to go, man, I really need to check to make sure that's legit. Is
yeah,
that gonna stand up if I have a claim or an issue or anything
yeah,
like that?
yeah. That's a big point too, man. Just dealing with claims in itself. Like, is this it? Or is my provider going to be in my corner, or are they going to make this even more difficult for me? Because
Right. Exactly.
I've definitely heard like drivers that have gotten in some situations, and there was one I saw a video on this. There was a driver that saw an accident take place, and he drove past there, but he stopped his truck, pulled over to the side, and went back and tried to help people out and gave a report to the police. Well, the police made him a part of the report, which ended up getting filed on his insurance. So his policy or his premium went through the roof. And he had nothing to do with this accident. He was just trying to be a good person and come and help them out. And I'm like, how does this even work? Like
Yeah.
what is insurance good for? Or even dad of two towing. I don't think you know him well, but he's one of our buddies from X. He runs a tow truck operation, I believe, out of Boston. Is that correct, Pedro?
Yeah, I know it's Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's Boston, but I know he's in up
yeah.
there.
Well, yeah, he was actually talking about this the other day. So he um had one incident. I forget what it was. I think he posted the video of it yesterday, but it was like when the big nor'easter came through, and one of his drivers was sitting there waiting to take a right turn. Well, this Chrysler 300 took a right turn, ended up hitting this huge snowbank, and like driver didn't see him at all. He did his double check and was taking a right turn. Well, this driver ended up getting like a dad's truck ended up driving over the hood of this truck, and so he obviously
Wow.
had to get the police involved and made a claim. Well, it turned out it wasn't even his fault. Well, a couple days later, he gets uh he gets a little notice from his insurance company, and his insurance went up by I forget how much, but a significant amount. And they said, "Oh, well, it has nothing to do with this claim. It's just that the prices are going up across the board." Well, dude, there's a pretty good chance that I don't believe in coincidences for the most part, but you know you make a claim and then I don't know. I'm not in insurance, but I feel like that's just That's just dirty business. And a lot of these companies, you're not going to get a straight answer out of them. They just want more money from you.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Since Will only has a limited amount of time left, Hunter, and I
Oh,
know
yes.
you're on the edge of your seat. Let's go.
Oops. All right. So, Will, another thing that you had mentioned is that you're in uh the drone industry.
I am.
Let me
Yeah.
let me share this real quick. I'm pulling up this screen. Take the floor, man. Tell us about this company right here.
So this company is called Matternet, and Matternet is the first company. It's the first delivery drone to be issued an FAA type certification. So what that means is they were the first ones that could do local business deliveries in urban areas. Um, and why that's and so these aren't the typical drone that you buy a drone on Amazon, you got a little remote and you're taking pictures over your yard or your boat while you're out on the lake, that kind of thing. These are heavy duty drones that are moving things like blood samples and pharmaceutical supplies. Uh, we're starting to work in a food delivery. There's actually a version of this that has a tether drop that it doesn't have to land and it can drop your pizza on your front porch. Um, and there's a couple of big ideas with this. One is that a drone moving in a straight line, as the bird flies per se, can move around in urban environments to make deliveries a lot faster and more efficient than trucks stuck in traffic, that kind of thing. It's certainly not designed to um, remove trucking or truckers or any that kind of thing. It's more, how do you go direct line with critical logistics services and things that need to be dealt with in a faster environment. And there's
Yeah.
also a whole economy of people that want stuff delivered quickly to them. Um, right. I mean, like there's all these use cases for this. And so anyway, I met the CEO while I was still at Flexport, and he and I kind of hit it off. And when I left Flexport, he's like, "Hey, come help me ramp this thing up." And so um, we're in the process of really driving a lot of new business there. Probably going to go through another round of funding to help grow and capitalize the company. The the interesting thing for me about this is these don't run in a typical environment that people think of drones. There's actually a mission control kind of center where these are run by like air traffic control.
Yeah.
And so if you buy these services, you could have multiple drones in the air, and then somebody sitting in Matternet's control tower managing all these drones, pickups, deliveries, weather, that kind of thing. There's also a lot of applications with first responders and police departments, those kind of things, where say someone calls in and says this building's on fire, and the nearest police officer is 20 minutes away to go validate that drone could be there in 5 minutes and take really high resolution pictures around everything and say immediately, there's no fire here, that's a false alarm. And so you don't tie up that capacity of that officer or ambulance or first responder, whatever. And the platform can also be agnostic to the drone and kind of manage that whole process for companies. So there's a lot of great swim lanes with this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I've always just been super interested in this space. So it's kind of one of these things, kind of getting down to the latter part of my career that I'm having a lot of fun working with and talking about and learning about. And I think in the next few years, you're going to see drones in the air, especially in metropolitan areas around the U.S., making all kinds of different deliveries.
Oh, yeah. I
So
mean,
It's
we're
that
seeing that
close.
we're seeing that with Amazon already, but
Mhm.
a spot that I could see that really being a great application is especially getting it with FAA. So I've heard of stories of like a single document or someone getting on an airplane with a single piece that will help a whole manufacturing plant launch production. But they have someone on that plane or a truck go to that airport and pick up this single document and think about the waste of time, money,
Yeah,
resources that it
right.
takes to do that. So you get something like this drone, well, they just pop in, pick it up, take it right there. It's easy, but like you said, it's already happening. People are getting pizzas delivered to them. Amazon's having packages delivered to them. And, to your point, man, like if there is a huge pile up on I-40 here in Nashville and, only a couple emergency vehicles can get to it. Well, what if they need, extra resources to save a life? Like
Right.
I think there is a lot of beneficial aspects to this. And I mean, has Matternet made a uh, a launch into the US? I saw down here that
Oh
you
yeah.
guys they were
So
working with UPS, and then this thing is crazy looking.
yeah, we have a so what that does is that the drone lands in that station, deploy that red box that you saw, it detaches that box with cargoes in, hot swaps a battery that's charging in that station, picks the new box back up and takes right back up, and the whole process only takes
So
literally a
you just
second.
you just put your whatever needs to be going right
Yep.
here, or what is this little John?
Yeah, that's just like you go in there and it has a scanner on it, and it's a kind of a barcode scanner off an app. And think of it as like an Amazon locker or whatever, and you push the box in there, and then the drone knows, because the drone comes down, understands what that box is, scans it, and
Mhm.
also there's an air traffic control that's managing this, or a control tower that's managing it, and literally the thing takes off again. So there's almost no downtime with the asset, and as fast as the drone can go, deliver, detach the box, upload another box, which just takes seconds, and then also hot swap batteries, so the thing can just consistently moving. Um,
Cool.
so there's all kinds of applications and things we're getting into. The regulatory environment is caught up to where you can't do it in all municipalities around the U.S., but you can in many of them, and a
Mhm.
lot of it has to do with other air traffic control things, like you can't fly one of these near military bases and airports and things like that. So obviously, right, and all that will get better as the technology gets better and get more lenient. Uh, we're all control freaks. It's kind of like the idea of the autonomous car, where a lot of people are fighting like the Waymo vehicle or the Uber,
Yeah.
autonomous car, but they're vastly safer, statistically, than you and I driving, because we get distracted. And
I don't
so,
know about that. I'm the best
yeah,
driver in the
yeah,
Southeast,
that's what
okay?
that's what I think too, right? But we all know, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, that
Yeah.
that it's probably a safer thing. So anyway, all kinds of applications is totally fine. You go to matternet.us, you can check it all out. We're actually revamping the website. There's going to be a lot of new stuff on there pretty soon.
Nice.
Um, yeah, yeah, take a look at it. But it's just been a fun part of my job,
Sweet.
our
Well,
work so far.
I know Rob's chomping at the bits, but one question. So obviously it's taking a big presence in, it looks like, Europe, or obviously across the seas. Is this something that a civilian could use? If I needed like a package sent real quick, could I
Yeah.
get on
So
there
this
and
is so Matternet's really set up more business to business, right? So
okay.
the equipment's expensive, and there's got to be a certain amount of volume and use case that makes sense. So probably not. But what more realistic scenario is that, like with our partnership with UPS, that could be one of the offering. That's, instead of your next day
Well,
express package, you could have a drone delivery as part of your,
I was
an option. So
I was just about to say that. How cool would it be if you had like a Matternet storefront, right? And like, I'm like, man, I do not feel like driving across damn Nashville to take Hunter this freaking thing. Like, let me just go on down the road to the Matternet
yeah.
store and give him this thing and just check it in, and then they put it in a little chute and bloop.
well, a really great use case that's like that is, so we have a number of engagements with pharmaceutical distribution companies, like,
Yeah, yeah, I was
and
thinking that.
so, who the vast majority of people are that buy pharmaceuticals are older people, right? Older folks, senior citizens. It might be a little harder for them to get to the pharmacy. They might not be able to
Absolutely.
drive. They're relying on other people. But what if this thing just took your meds and dropped it on your front porch, or
That'd be
dropped it at the front door of your senior facility, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And the thing is, a person like that might pay another $20 fee or whatever it is gladly to do that, because those meds are really important. and they might have trouble collecting them on their own, right? And
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely.
yeah,
I,
and there's, yeah, and so there's all kinds of applications to it. It's kind of amazing.
I want to make a suggestion on someone that y'all need to go solicit for the med delivery, the VA, bro. Go to the fucking Veterans Affairs
That's
and
a good
solicit
idea.
those morons about my meds, because there is no reason why I should order meds from you, and it comes from Waco, which I know is a 1-day turnaround for the UPS or USPS,
Right.
and it takes you 10 days to get me my
Well, dude,
medication.
even someone like my grandmother, you know, she's had a stint here as of late with high blood pressure, and it's kind of scary. Luckily, I live close enough to her, but you know, it could be 3 in the morning, or you know, there's no telling when a medical emergency will happen. So, like, you know,
Yeah.
in that state, you can't. I mean, obviously, she could call an ambulance, but that's
Mhm.
all that money. Then you're dealing with medical bills. But you know, there's a simple medication that can help regulate that and get it done. So yeah, I think that, I mean, to the general public, this could be very, very beneficial. Like,
Yeah, I think you go into a doctor's office and you have a bunch of samples and tests done, right? Your blood drawn, that kind of thing. You know, what usually happens is it gets batched that night and goes out FedEx overnight to some lab. It gets there, 10 a.m. the next morning, and then they work on it all day. But
right.
what if you took a sample and you could have it to that lab in 30 minutes, and then have an immediate result, right? I mean, so there's all we're kind of hyper focused in the healthcare and kind of pharmaceutical area because we think that that's where the greatest application is for a lot of this technology. And so,
Yeah,
Well,
hey,
absolutely.
Hunter and I,
gentlemen, I gotta run, but I've loved talking
yeah,
to you. I come back on
Yeah.
another
last
time
thing,
if you want me.
Hunter and I just want to know whenever
Yeah,
Matternet goes public, so we can put in our buy options, okay?
there you go. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Have a
I,
good
I
one,
think
Will.
yeah, but
I'll send
love
you my
having you guys. Thanks
application.
for having me.
Thanks, man.
Have a
Have
good
a good
one,
one,
Will.
Will.
All right, take care. Thanks, guys.
Later,
All right,
brother.
Bye.
All right. Hey, bro, before we go on, I have got to pull up this video, bro. There won't be any sound to it because I can't pull it up on our thing, but like old Carlos Medina with Spill Bully, dude. I
Spill of
don't
the
know.
day.
Yes, dude, you gotta fucking watch this. It amazes me how stupid some people are. But look what this guy does.
Oh, dude, you can play the sound. It looks like you're muted down there on the bottom right. My God. What was he? This has to be a fake thing, dude. There's no shot. That's
Bro,
the
why
dumbest shit
would
I've
you?
ever seen. Oh my God. That
Why
pisses me off.
would
That was
you
a nice
even?
truck too.
I know. That's why I said you gotta
Now
see it.
I'm
Like
mad. Now I'm mad. We were having a great time. Now I'm pissed. Carlos, if you're watching this, calm down, bro. That was
that was, dude, man. He posts the funniest things. So sometimes I'd be like, man, like I want to laugh, and I'm like, dude, like I feel sorry for that guy. Like he posted one the other day, and it was a guy carrying a case of beer, and it was like icy outside, and he gets right to his door and slips, and the case of beer just falls out, crushes everywhere. I'm like,
oh,
dude, I
I've
know
seen
that's
dude,
funny,
anytime I
but
buy bottles, dude, I always hold it from the bottom now because I've seen videos like that, dude. Coming home from work all happy, got food, got some beers, and then boom, the bottom breaks out, and he's just
I I had that
head and
happen to me.
hands.
So
I'd be the same way, man.
dude, I've had that happen to me twice. The last time was when my car got hit in the beer store parking lot, dude. I went out there and right before the guy had hit me, I was walking up to my car. I usually get a bag. For some reason I didn't, but the beer fell out of the damn thing and all over the freaking concrete. And then as I'm getting in my car is when this asshole decides to hit me. And I'm like, dude, how much
Wow.
traffic can your day get? My beer just got ruined. So,
Dude, I would have sat in
uh,
my car and thought about every bad thing I did for the
I
past few
know.
years.
Oh
That's
my
that's
God.
karma, dude. That sucks. Did the
That
uh
did so.
did the beer store take care of you at all? Did they give you
Dude,
any mercy?
they actually did. You were on the phone with me today when I went in there and you heard that like they know who I am because
Yeah.
I come there the same 3 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because I only drink when we have the show. But yeah, dude, they did. I walked back in there and the lady says, "Oh, well, it happened as you walked out the door of the store." Wink, wink. And I was like, yes, it did. It did. The door hit my arm, and yeah, so they ended up giving me a free 6-pack. So yeah, they actually did, man.
That's good.
It was freaking on. You want to know where we should talk about is get back on this EV thing.
Well, I wanna talk about LinkedIn right now because I'm pissed.
I am too.
I did. I like disconnected it, tried to reconnect it, and now it says wait a moment. So hopefully it works again. But if it does not, we're gonna have to take a situation to a further level. But yeah, what you want to talk about EVs? I'm down to get you riled up a bit.
Bro, I'm not. It's not the brought up. I just like
Oh,
bringing
hold
to.
on. By the way, if anybody in here from X is watching and you want to hop on, just shoot us a message and we'll send you a link.
Yeah, y'all. We always have these awesome X rooms. Let's have a freaking a logistics
Well,
lounge
dude,
room.
I did see that X is talking about making video spaces, which
Oh,
might
really?
be the next. Yeah, man. Well, there's a group or a space talking about it,
Uh-huh.
but I think it'd be sick, man. It'd be like Discord, but a bit easier.
I would tell you, I like those X spaces, dude. Because, bro, I literally listened to one the other night that, like, for real, had Elon Musk on it.
Oh, Dad just commented. Dad, I'm sending you a link right now. I know
But
he's bullshitting.
dude, like it had Elon in it, man, and they were just talking about bullshit, like nothing serious. Like it was him and this lady was hosting it, and it was I don't know, a couple hundred people in there, but like it was just so it was so surreal. I don't know, maybe that's not the right word, but to just be sitting in there and listening to fucking Elon Musk shoot the shit with these people and stuff, just talking about mess, and then like the rooms that you and I get involved in, man, with people like freaking Dad of Two and Darting Uphill, Justin
Vanilla and
Martin, fucking Gooseburger, all of those crazy. Oh,
yeah,
and Sage. Sage don't create no rooms. He just comes in them and causes havoc.
yeah, that guy's a wild card.
We have got to get him back on the show, man.
Well,
We
you
have
never
got.
invited him. He's mad, so he's my friend now. I'll get him on here.
Whatever.
I don't know if you can join, but
He can be. Hey, that's fine. Hey, is what it is. Not everybody's gonna like me, and I'm okay with that. I understand. He's upset. I wouldn't say I hurt his feelings, but and I don't. Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe I didn't hurt his feelings. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't hurt his pride. Maybe I did. Maybe he just doesn't like my amazing red beard. Maybe that's all it is. Could be a lot of things.
well, I just still want to know where he gets his robes from.
His he steals them. He steals them from the hotels he stays in. Hey, what you doing, brother? We see you rolling down the highway. Where you going?
Predatory towing anywhere I can today. Southern Mass and down to Connecticut and then back up to New Hampshire.
This motherfucker, I love how he always says that. He always says predatory towing.
Listen, you got to, if the shoe fits, I got to wear it, right?
I know that's right, bro. What do you
play the part?
What are you picking up, man? I mean, I know you do the fleet stuff, but what are you picking up today? A car, a van, a truck, what?
So on the deck now is a Ford Escape, former Bear Chemicals employee, heading to auction, and then I got two pickup trucks in Connecticut to grab.
So, hey, so when you do the two pickups, are you gonna what are you gonna do? Put one on your deck and then tow the other one, or what?
Yeah, there's a secondary hookup in the back.
Let me ask you that, bro.
Around, pick the rear wheels up and send it.
I've never thought about this, but while I got you, so I mean, do you have to have like an additional license for your company, or maybe an endorsement on your own license to to tow another vehicle behind your tow truck? Say if you're a deck, you know what I mean? Like, is that just, hey, I could just do it because I know how, or what?
No, I mean, it's not an additional endorsement until you start getting over the weight ratings. Once you start exceeding 26,000, 10,000 on the back, then it becomes an issue. But every state but New Hampshire up here requires that the vehicle is registered that's on the back. So if 2 tires are on the ground, it's got to be registered. So I actually had to go out and get transport plates to put on these cars. So if it's unregistered, I have to put my transport plate on it, which is, it's $1,000 a year in insurance just for a plate to go on a car that my truck insurance already covers.
That's crazy, dude. That's not so. Hey, I mean, we talked about costs. Is that something that like, you try to roll back into your stuff, and or like, is it accessible? Say, hey, your car wasn't registered. I had to freaking pay for this tag. Hey, you need to somehow reimburse me for that. Is that like something or no?
Well, the problem is if I line item it as a line item, then all these fucking shitbag wine bags are going to say I'm predatory because I add shit to the line item. So you got to bake it in, right? So, God forbid I paid for it, but I have to use it on more than one car. I can't bill everybody. You know what I mean? Then they cry that I'm a predator, whatever. So it's it's one of those things where you kind of bake it into your operating costs. I know that the plates cost me $100 each. The insurance cost me $1,000 each a year. So you just got to bake that into your operating costs.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's weird that, like, I don't know, they would require the car to be rich. Like, in a way it makes sense, but at the same time, like, it fucking doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, who gives a shit if the car is registered? My truck's registered. I'm licensed. I'm insured. Like, who the hell cares what the thing hanging off the back of the truck is? You know what I mean? As long as it goes down the road, you know what I mean? And there's nothing falling off of it. What's the big deal? But
yeah, it's hooked to the truck, and the truck's and that's what's crazy is the truck's insurance covers it.
Yeah.
It's not the insurance on the plate. The reason you have to insure the plate is because in theory I could put it on something and drive it. So they make you insure it, but that's not what we use it for up here.
But think about the logic by that. You could do the same thing to the one that's on the back on your deck. I just pull this shit down and drive it. You don't care if that's registered.
Right. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter when the one on top, it's the one that has 2 wheels touching the ground. Yeah, that's the one it's not like they're getting revenue, right? So it's not like the state's getting additional revenue if, because in New Hampshire, I don't have to have it, but in Massachusetts, they're not getting additional revenue by me putting this plate on it. New Hampshire's getting the revenue from me getting the plate. So it's not, it's not going to your road tax or your excise tax or whatever. It's New Hampshire's money, not yours.
Just Mac.
That's
this?
Crazy, man. Just Mac.
I feel like that's the Bath Road broker.
No, it's right there. Just Mac. Oh, this crazy. Oh God, here we go. It's I had a feeling it was him, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't want to make any assumptions because there are so many people trolling that just me.
No, we're the henchmen now, man. We're the henchmen.
That's right. We are the henchmen.
God.
Say.
All right, I'm dipping out for a minute. I'll be back.
Little broker's room.
Yeah. What's this EV debate you want to have? I got you. What you got? You got nothing?
Me? I got nothing, bro.
Yeah.
EVs are a scam. And here's how I always love to begin my EV argument is that if you're pro EV, you're pro human trafficking and slavery. And to me, that just ends it all.
Back yourself up on that. Explain yourself on that one, bro.
All right, bro. So a majority of where these minerals and all this stuff that are mined come from are third world countries, places like Russia, China, the whole the continent of Africa.
You obviously have not Googled that we are moving to Mountain Pass, California, the rare earth.
Oh, yes. Oh, please. I am so glad that you brought that up. So here in America, we actually are trying to start a mine. I believe it's a lithium mine in in a place in this country that is actually protective native land, is holy land for the natives. And even more than that, is in a place in the country where water is very scarce. One of the few things that people are able to do there to support themselves is agriculture. So all of these lovely politicians that are going to get kickbacks from all this are saying, oh, well, we're just going to reroute your water and put you on water restrictions, and we're going to send all this shit over to these mines. Because if you don't know, it takes about an Olympic-sized pool, or actually maybe it's more than that, an Olympic-sized pool a second to do these mining operations. So, I mean, dude, EVs are the biggest scam. They're what I call a feel-good product. And this is what I mean. I don't give a shit who is hurt before or after I own it, as long as I feel good and I think that I'm doing something. That's all that fucking matters.
That's so backwards.
Bro, it is, bro. That's exactly what it is.
But I mean, in all reality, I brought this up before, man. Think about where your tennis shoes are made. Think about where your shirts are made. If anything's coming from China, you're getting the same deal as anything else.
I agree, man. I agree, but everybody's not touting the cotton that comes from China as the thing that's going to save the planet.
Okay, so back in the 1970s, we had something called stagflation. And what happened? We had an oil crisis. And during the oil crisis, because we were back in the 1960s and 70s, they were making cars that were muscle cars and everything like that, right? It was a big deal back then. So one of the things that happened in the 1970s with stagflation, we were in some trouble, recession. Stagflation is when you also have recession and nobody buying anything, and it's kind of like a dooms. It's a worst case scenario. So one of the things that the feds did to end stagflation was raise interest to 20%. Okay. So then you had during the 1970s, you also had Nixon, and then we had to slow down. We went to 55 miles an hour. We brought, and they were doing a bunch of different ways to basically not be able to save money on like oil and gasoline and things like that. So one of the things that they did during that time was they actually said, hey, we're going to invest a bunch of money into fuel efficiency, better ways for, cars and things like that. So Japan at that time was master of Datsun, Honda, and making 4-cylinder engines. And they had the technology and most of the technology to make smaller fuel-injected cars, less carburetors and things like that. They had that technology being made in Japan. So what happened was when we said, hey, we're going to invest all this money into fuel-efficient cars and this type stuff, Japan invested a ton of money into the United States and started basically creating jobs and opportunities in the United States to build 4-cylinder cars, fuel efficient type stuff. We also looked at windmills, solar. We were looking at the same thing back then, 1970s. I pulled up an article that I can send to you guys if you'd like. And what that actually did was it also helped pull a little bit of jobs and newer jobs, higher paying jobs, right? So we're on a cycle that if you kind of look at society as a whole, we're looking for higher paying jobs because of inflation and stuff like that. Well, then you have places like South America and down the Pan American Highway that are looking for any type of work. So the goal is to technically rotate things like sneaker making and stuff, sewing sweatshirts and making my robes down to basically down the Pan American Highway, and then front money higher tech jobs like batteries, semiconductors, computer parts. So you want to kind of look at the EV section as not the final outcome as electric cars, but all the other technology that's coming out of the EV process, drones, cameras, semiconductors, the oil industry is pumping more oil now than they've ever pumped. And they're doing it because of advanced technology that they've actually tapped into with things like this to be able to locate, sonar and stuff to be able to locate mines and things. So the actual big picture of EVs isn't the final outcome, but it's the outcome of basically investing and bringing higher paying jobs and higher opportunities and technology into our country to allow people to go from, hey, I don't want to make sweatshirts. I'd rather make semiconductors and work jobs like that. Does that make sense?
No, it does, man. And I am aware of all the stuff you just talked about the the late 60s, 70s, on into the 80s, about the oil and fuel efficiency. the oil embargoes, which I wouldn't say I hate to say it, but in a way, America, we kind of did that to ourselves. All of that came down to, eventually what would become OPEC. They got together and decided, hey, these stupid ass Americans are fucking taking advantage of us. This is our stuff. We're not going to stand for this anymore. And we stabbed our own selves in the back with all that mess. But I agree with everything you're saying, man. And I'm not pinpointing and saying that, dude, there's not other things in this world that, come from nefarious activities or things that aren't so well looked upon here in the US. But my thing is that here we are shoving something down people's throats that is not, and will not in any of the near future do what they're saying. Here's another great example that I love to make. We actually just added an EV charging station to a high-end shopping center here in our town. And with every EV charging station, what's right next to it? A fucking propane or natural gas fed generator. And
go ahead.
And anyway, man, it's just, I'm just an anti-EV guy. I am not anti-saving the planet. I am super like towards, I think hydrogen is the way to go. I'm even for hybrids, which are a mix of EV and gas. I think that there are so many other directions that we could go while continuing to research and better the technology behind full EVs, but not be pushing this stuff down everyone's throat and making people feel good and saying, man, you're doing a great thing. If you buy our product, you'll be saving the planet. But again, it's a feel-good product. Nobody thinks about what's going to happen, what it comes from beforehand, what's going to happen with it afterwards, or whether we can even support that type of product on the market now with our dependency on fossil fuels and electrical networks. And even the thing that happened in Chicago, where these people literally couldn't even charge their cars because the things froze. The charging station froze.
Really?
And when you look at it, don't look at it from that small perspective, right? At one point, when you're buying muscle cars, nobody wanted 4-cylinder cars, right? But eventually 4-cylinder cars came around and people starting to do that. But the technology if for you to invest here, if I'm going to be an investor and I'm going to invest in $1 million, like if you pull up Group 14 out of Washington, it's a German company that's investing in better batteries and stuff. So if you're going to invest millions and millions and millions of dollars into America, the last thing you're going to want to hear America say, this is the future. We're going to push hard for this. We're going to keep going with this. The last thing you're going to want to hear them say is, well, it's a fad. We're done with it now. Get out of here, right? Because we want you to bring the technology. We want you to bring the jobs. But you have to, for another country to come and invest millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, they want to hear that the government of America is going to keep this for longer than 3 years so that company can turn profitable. They're going to want to hear a push for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years so that if they do invest in this and they do hire 50,000 people and they do build the largest battery distribution manufacturer in the state of Washington, that it's not going to go to the wayside in 3 years and then they're out, right? So it's a lot of the times what you're also hearing isn't just the fact that they're pushing it, that it's not going to be or it's never going to do anything. The hope is the technology and the transfer from an industrial age to a technology age ends up here in America rather than in Taiwan, Singapore, and Japan, right? I mean, when people are getting their graphics cards and have to get it from Japan, well, that's why we're trying to push more towards EVs and electronics and technology and semiconductors. And Samsung's building a plant in Taylor, Texas, and you've got AMD and what's the Taiwan one that are building plants. So it's about the bigger push. It's sometimes it's the exaggeration that brings the other countries to invest in our country and bring back technology jobs that we just don't. We don't build the semiconductors we should be building. We don't make the technology we should be building. A lot of the graphic cards and stuff, even for computers, are built in Japan and other countries. And this is the jobs that we should have here, that we should be investing, and then we should be outsourcing our jobs that we don't have to have, like I said, say sneakers and making sweatshirts and to countries
and robes
to keep them down. I mean, that's a part of the Pan American Highway that that was the establishment of the Pan American Highway that was done by Franklin D. Roosevelt, where he created the Good Neighbor Policy. And the Good Neighbor Policy was about building a road, heading it all the way down to South America, and basically creating trade and business and things down there to offset and that way you wouldn't have people hitting the border.
Yeah, but what happened the last time we tried to build a battery plant here and, stick a shit ton of federal funds into it? They took all our money and fucking closed up shop.
Yeah, that shit happens. I mean, it sucks, and they have to have better oversight into things. But there's lots of businesses that have started that didn't, that went under. But I think we can't. Technology is the future, and you're going to have this stuff, right? Look at everything we're doing right now. So, but the issue is that we are behind the 8 ball on that in regards to where we have the intellectual property, but we're not actually doing the manufacturing and doing a lot of the production of this type of things. And that's where a big push for the EV is. And it was the same push back in the 1970s when they came up with the same thing. We need wind, we need this, we need that. It was because the country in itself was in a stagflation area that the country basically had to look and say, what new jobs can we bring here? What new opportunities can we bring here that have other countries invest into our country and bring their technology with them? And a lot of that was, fuel efficiently with companies like Japan. Back then there was wind and solar panels. That was the same thing back then also. You got me started. I blame you. Why don't you fire me up, bro? You wanted,
No, bro. You don't have to blame me, because I like talking about this type of stuff, man. I do. It's interesting to me, and I don't know. I'm a person that how can I say this? I like people who just buy into stuff and don't think about anything past what the fucking advertising says. I'll tell you, dude, Tesla, I like Elon, not a Tesla fan. I just think they have fantastic marketing. It's like Apple. Like, I don't think Apples are that great. Yeah, do some apps work on there? They don't work on Android. Does Apple have some stuff that, Samsung doesn't do? Yeah, but dude, when it comes right down to it, it's all about advertising. People feel good because they have Apple products, and Apple personalizes things. That's why when a lot of people talk about their iPhones, it's my iPhone. It's not my cell phone. It's my iPhone, my iPad, I was about to say my iPod, but I don't know if anyone. Well, Sage is old enough to know what an iPod is.
I have one. I still have one.
Sage is old enough to know what an iPod is. Maybe Dad is, but
oh hell yeah! I still got one of the minis.
An iPod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one. I know
iPods are not that old. I had iPods.
I know you know what it is. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just didn't know if you ever had one. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude. They were on the Nanos
here and gone in a blip if you think about it. But anyway, man, it's just with the EV stuff, man. And I will use a customer that I have right now as an example. Windmills. Who would have thought that windmill blades don't last forever? Like, you think, you say, oh, they don't, but when you know what they're made out of and you see the structures, you're like, oh man, those things last for 100 years. No, they don't.
No, we change out the motors too.
And you know what they do with them when they're done? We take them and we bury them in mass graves in the middle of fucking nowhere. They never decompose. They just sit there in the ground, just sitting there. And you're like, oh, well, it doesn't do any damage to anything. But it's like, yeah, well, here's another thing that we're supposed to be helping the environment. But when it's all said and done, we have to find somewhere to bury these things and get rid of them. And nobody cares. No one thinks about that stuff, man. It's just.
How much time before I get cut off? Just so I know. How much time before you got to cut me out of here?
Bro,
so do you?
It was 5 minutes ago.
I agree. I agree with that statement. So do you know kind of what the actual climate change reality is, what it's actually based on? Have you ever heard of the books Limits to Growth?
No, I haven't.
I'll give you a speed version. All right. So back in the 1970s. I'm old. Back in the 1970s, MIT got together with a team and a computer and a head guy, and they basically said, hey, we want you to do a thing in regards to how long we would make it on the basis of what we need to do to function as a planet, right? So you need 5 things, and I'd have to go back and look. You need like ground to be able to do both for food, and then you need ground to be able to dig up from raw material. You need to be able to put pollution someplace. You need to be able to, I'd have to pull them up. Population and money, right? You have to control those 5 things. So the actual climate change that they're afraid of is not having to truly do with the weather. A lot of this, and it's all in this 1970s scope. No matter how many times they ran this computer, unless they controlled the money and unless they controlled the population, it always crashed around 2030, right? It always crashed. And the book is called Limits to Growth. You can read it online for free if you Google it in a PDF thing. So what they're actually, the climate change that they're actually talking about, and that's why they talk about economics, and it's like, how does economics affect climate change? Well, when you separate things, when the third world, okay, so you got the upper class and the lower class, right? And the middle class is getting smaller and smaller, and the poor is getting poorer, and the rich are getting richer, right? You got that theory? Well, as that happens, eventually you get chaos, right? Because the poor start to get pissed off at the rich, and you get chaos. Well, now let's take a look at that on the fact of third worlds and first worlds. The United States is a first world country, and we're getting further and further and further and further away from third world countries to the point that they're never going to be able to reach us. That turns third world countries into complete chaos, right? Because they're never going to have the opportunities that this has, and this is kind of where you start to see that separation. Well, when you start to get that chaos, you start to get, a lot of things happening that you don't want to happen, that you have to go in. I don't want to get you guys kicked off anything, but you kind of get conflicts. Let's use the word conflicts. You get conflicts, and next thing you know, militaries are being sent down there to stop conflicts, and all that energy gets used and things like that. So what actually they're looking at climate change is the fact that they can't allow the first world to go so fast that the third world will never catch up. So now you're starting to see the stuff where they're trying to make a middle class in regards to third worlds and first worlds. So how do you do that? Well, you got to lower the standards here because there's no way they're going to catch us. And then you see a lot. And this is why people start to say, well, they're trying to make us into a third world. No, they're trying to make everybody into a second world, if you think about it like that. So I did a whole video on it and explaining it and breaking it down from the people who did it and reading the sections of it. And even David Rockefeller in San Francisco in 1969 did a speech that was called the, God speech or whatever it was, where he basically explained that. So it's a lot about countries getting further and further away and first world countries separating faster and faster from third world countries, and then they'll never catch up. But that's the boring part of it. See, this is what I do when I don't troll. I have more fun trolling than sometimes because this is all boring and people fall asleep.
Did you get all that on when you went out to Davos, or where'd you pick all that up?
Yeah, that's basically when I wore my wig. I wore my disguise wig. That's when I originally got my disguise wig, was to go into Davos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Well,
hey,
Sage, I will say you can do your trolling, but that's where our conversation a little later on is going to come in. We're going to dial it in. You can troll the world. Right.
So here's what I do have. You dial me in, point me in a direction, give me a target. I'm like an aircraft carrier. Let me launch that. I talked about this earlier, and somebody's like, hey, when you troll, you got to be a little bit more, subtle about it. I'm like, what do I look like? TJ, listen, I'm not a sniper. I'm not TJ, I'm not a sniper, bro. I'm the aircraft. When TJ's like, all right, I got my guy, bring in the aircraft carrier. Here comes Sage. All right. So it's for me, it's just give me a target. But you want me to talk about something logistical real quick? That's actually something carriers should start to look at is.
Well, actually, you just did, right? You talked about third world and first world. That's brokers and owner operators, right?
It is, but it's going to get worse.
So brokers are getting more and more fat off the 79% rips. The drivers are getting poorer and poorer off the 75-cent rates. So now,
Corey, chill out with conflict. that Alex trolling right there.
Right. So now there's conflict, right? So now there's a conflict between drivers and brokers.
Hey,
what?
And then there's guys like me and you guys who are trying to bring everybody back together.
Yeah. No, not really.
That and used tires. I think used tires will help a lot of people out.
Yeah. So, all right. I'll do one more here for actual information. So these nuclear verdicts, like the nuclear verdict just came down with Warner, and everybody knows the story. It's like $100 million. Warner.
Oh, yes.
Warner was
Yes.
driving like east, and another car was driving west across the interstate, and
We already know so much about this, bro. Keep going. We know. Oh, we had a lawyer talk about this on the show.
Wait, about what? I missed it. I was zoned out for a second.
So Warner was driving on eastbound, and then another car was on eastbound side, and it was icy, and the car slid across and ended up hitting the Warner truck, or the Warner truck hit him, and now it's $100 million nuclear verdict.
Yep.
So these nuclear verdicts that are coming down are. Yeah, and so these nuclear verdicts that are coming down, doesn't matter if it's Carrier, doesn't matter if it's C.H. Robinson versus Miller, it doesn't matter what the case is, right? C.H. Robinson v. Miller. What's actually starting to happen, and I just got a call today, is now even freight brokers. So in our TMS system, a lot of times, I don't know if you guys do it, but we can issue a bill of lading for the shipper, okay? Or we can issue a bill of lading.
Careful with that.
No, you don't do it. Don't do it. That is not your job. You cannot do that. You cannot take a supervisory role. Don't do it. Just
the only thing I've ever done with that is I've gone on Google and gotten a template and sent it to somebody.
Correct. Multiple.
That you can make it yourself. Here's a BOL for you.
Contact between the shipper, and you step away from that. But a lot of other brokers are actually doing that. So I had a call from a guy that works for a larger broker that he's an agent, that he says, hey, we just got a memo saying we can't do this. I said, well, you guys never should have did that. But anyways, what's happening is now brokers are starting to see any place that they could be at risk to get hit with a lawsuit, with any of these nuclear verdicts. They are in damage control mode. So you are going to see, in my opinion, even more restraints from carriers, from brokers than you've seen before because of these nuclear verdicts, right? I think they're trying to stop anybody that has less than 5 trucks, right? So they're really starting to push, because they want you to be bigger.
Awesome.
They want you to be basically more established, because right now these nuclear verdicts, as they come down, it causes a knee-jerk reaction in the industry from brokers, from shippers, from carriers, to pull back and get in protection mode. And the last person on the line of that protection mode is going to be the truck driver, right? The owner operator, the carrier. So,
well, are we going to get rid of brokerages with less than 5 brokers too?
That's a nil.
I hope so.
I was trying to figure out the fuck
That's
that
what I'm
was.
saying, bro. Earlier was like when he came on, it was just Mac, and I was like, "Who the fuck?" And I saw it, I was like, "Oh,
dude,
Neil."
Neil, you got a henchman, man. Henchmen got to stick together. Where's the name?
Yeah, it's
Where are my henchmen?
Bro, it's so weird.
That's awesome. I got 10 trucks, so let's chase out all the fucking little carriers.
I do. I'm starting to see it.
Let's roll.
You got the power.
Because I had one broker call me and say that he's not allowed.
I've got the capacity. We're good.
Yeah, he said that he's not allowed to use any carrier smaller than 10 trucks.
All you have to do
fuck
is
those little
the
guys.
FMCSA
Fuck those little
that you're
guys,
gonna
dude.
shut down and
They
they'll
need to go.
listen.
They need to go. We need to get rid of them. Let's
If
go.
you would've
Let's
started a
roll.
space, I could have brought the space into this show. Just so you guys know, if you ever have me on, if you start a space, I can log into the space and then patch the space into my Roadcaster.
We'll do it now.
Well, you have to start a space.
We're like freestyling. Our guest had to cut out a little bit early, so like.
No. Yeah,
But I heard there aren't there video spaces now.
I don't know. I don't
I
know
hope
what
not.
video space would be. Video space would be this. Yeah.
Anil, you don't want any of those jumbotrons coming through again?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. No, I think it's a bad idea. You seen some
I
of
think
those
that's why
guys?
you couldn't
It's
have
not
your
good.
pill today. Probably got tagged by X there for a little bit.
From
Please
fucking
check
by
the
now.
pill. Please check the pill.
I just want to say how weird it is to see.
Well, not everybody has to have a video. It'd be like Discord. You have the option. You don't have to do it, but like, shit, we could have the lounge rocking in there.
How weird it is to see a Neil in a 4-wheeler. That's
fucking
weird.
happens.
Like, hey, every time we see him, he's either driving or he's in the bunk, irritating his co-driver.
I've got no co-driver now. But I've been in 4 different trucks today.
Oh, he didn't make the cut?
No, he's on his own, man.
I gotta jump off. I'll be back. I gotta jump off. I
cut him loose, man. He's doing the driving.
No, I think Satan's gonna tag this into a space somehow, which will be an interesting shit show. Hell of a day to not have LinkedIn tagged on this, because this might be the day that the lounge
Bro,
could get canceled.
dude, we would have had such, like, our viewership was okay. We would have had
Well, it's annoying,
amazing.
dude, because like we get like at least 20 people viewing from the
Yes,
LinkedIn
dude,
side, and then like we had a solid 10, 10,
That's
12
like
just from
18 more than Noah.
Well, they're exclusive. We're you gotta climb the pyramid.
I'm trying.
Base camp 3.
I've been trying to think of like, how to say that, another verbiage, whatever,
Verbiage.
for their acronym. Like, we all know what it stands for, but like I'm trying to think of something else, like, not officially official. Like, I don't know. Like, I want to think of some stupid shit that we can all say when we talk about this.
I think we're stuck
it'll
with
be
tuna.
TONOOA, so it'll be the other
Yeah.
National Owner Operators Association, and they can't touch us. It's just the
The
other
next-
one.
The next Owner Operators Association. Or the new,
Jesus.
something
real.
like that. Yeah.
The real. Nah, fuck that.
It's a
Man,
good thing we have like Jeff Bezos' lawyers to back us up, right?
Oh,
I
of
know
course.
that's fucking right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are the henchmen.
Dude,
Elon's
y'all-
coming on soon, man. Elon's gonna be here soon. He's been in talks, he's just a little busy at the time, but he's on board.
I just want to know who the henchmen are that are following them around. I mean, I'm very curious. I would like to see like
we don't
video.
talk about it.
Hey Corey, what the hell are you doing, man?
Trying to get to the auction to drop one off and then drive to another auction and pick 2 more up. You know how it is. I don't fucking stop. The wheels turn all day.
Shit, I'm meeting my mom for dinner. I'm just waiting for her to show up. She thinks I have spare time somehow.
You're just getting out of housework again, ain't you?
Fuck yes, I am. I gotta go switch trucks in Kansas City tonight while I'm babysitting a load that's gonna stay at my house because they fucked up an appointment.
Where
And
are
then
you out of?
We're like southeast Kansas.
Oh,
So we're in
shit.
that 4 states region.
You're not too far. I thought you were in Dallas for some reason. I told Pedro about us getting Ryan a little amped up last night, but
Yeah, he was a little emotional.
it's okay. He's got to learn. I invited him in, but he said I can't join. I said why?
His wife finally put her foot down.
Yeah, he got busted yesterday, dude. I was cracking up.
Hey, I don't knock it. My wife catches me, my ass is grass. The minute I'm home, the shit goes off. I'm supposed to be present. I mean, I can't turn off the phone because people keep hitting shit, but
Nice. So,
God dang, bro.
back to Freight-X, right? So these, it just goes, it kills me like these guys talk shit about, how the other side does it. Like, we're doing something wrong. Like, I actually met Alex for breakfast this morning. That ALEKS, the guy.
Yes.
Dude. How was that?
Yes.
That guy's hilarious. I
He's a
love that
fucking
guy.
legend. He's a
He's
fucking legend.
He's funny as fuck. Like, he's a good Southern boy. He's a good Texas boy, right?
Yes.
But he's funny as fuck. He's down to earth like the rest of us. Like,
he's
just
taking on the
wants to go out there and earn
brokers.
some money. But at the same
He's
time,
he's taking out the brokers.
yeah, he's trying one broker at a time, But
Yeah, he's got him down.
He ain't caught me yet.
So but it's he delivers to 2 places on either side of me. So I'm like, why don't if you're ever up here, just and you get stuck, just pull up to the shop and fucking go there, and you got fridge and TV and whatever. Like, he's like, no shit. I'm like, yeah, fucking oil change, tools, whatever. And he's like, wow, that's weird. And I was like, what? He's like, that somebody would actually offer that. I'm like, why? I'm not fucking part of Noah. And he starts laughing, it's just a cool cat, and you just do what you can to.
Did you
help
just
each
pay your
other
phone
out.
bill, Corey?
Why am I blimping out?
He's got AT&T.
Oh, okay. You need a real service like T-Mobile.
I got cricket,
Is it
bro. Shut the
is
fuck
it
up.
true that T-Mobile's gonna be like linked up with Space or not SpaceX?
Yes, they are. Supposedly their dead zones are going to be linked up with SpaceX or whatever
That's
it
what
is,
it's
whatever
called.
Starlink.
Starlink. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be T-Mobile will be backed up by Starlink, but AT&T is working on a similar satellite program. I just kind of trust Elon Musk more than I do whoever the hell AT&T's is.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. I mean, honestly, that Starlink thing, I mean, I'm here for it. It's cool.
I think it's gonna be bitching because it's supposed to hit every dead zone around the world.
Yeah,
So
dude. That's the thing,
kill
man. Like,
that bullshit on cruises. You know, if it kills that shit, it's done something good.
yeah. I just don't know how it's not been a thing yet, but yes, we do. Fucking big cell phone taking everybody down. But as long as they take down Xfinity, I'm fine with that. Comcast Xfinity has been burdening the
I
world
think this shit
forever.
will all be like satellite based, and they're gonna get rid of
It
all the
should
towers.
be. Fuck,
Bro,
man.
yeah,
Like, why not?
think about that, dude. Like you just said, Neil, or maybe it was you just said it, Hunter. Sorry, I was paying attention to two different things. But why isn't
It's
that
all
where
me.
we're at?
Don't worry.
Why isn't that where we were at already? Like, I mean, we did our planet has fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites circling it that aren't even in use anymore. Like we have things from the 80s and the Cold War just still floating up there in fucking
Okay,
space.
but the real question, to circle back to freight and freight X, how many satellites do we have to put in space before we can eliminate all the brokers?
No, I don't know.
There's not enough.
I don't think you can put
I'm
it
already
up.
working on my first brokerage station on the moon.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Japan failed terribly, and I'm kind of pissed. So they owe me a bunch of money back. I don't know if y'all saw. They tried to put something on the moon, and it landed upside down. And somehow somebody took a picture of it. So that's interesting. If you haven't seen
Is it
that
kind of
yet.
like the moon landing, and did they use the same like, what do you call that, film studio to film that landing as they did the other one?
Yeah, Reynolds Wrap is making a killing off their aluminum foil sales right now, and James Cameron is actually going to take it the distance. He's going to be the first man to run a marathon on the moon.
Cameron. That's so fucking true. That's so funny, bro. I like how they use,
Hey, yo, JB, hop on, man. I'll send you a link.
I like how they use the excuse of it's about money, it's not worth it. And it's like, I bet you if we all came together and sat in a room, we could probably think of a lot of shit that ain't worth the money that we could get rid of. Could fund space exploration. Oh man.
You get rid of brokers, that'll be the first step.
Get rid of brokers, you're right.
Michael Just Me has it figured out. I mean, we're gonna handle brokering freight without brokers.
Yeah, but we're gonna do it different.
We're gonna do it from our kitchen table in Idaho.
Hey,
because it's grassroots. It's grassroots, and we're gonna hand out stickers and cards. But we're not gonna use social media because that's too easy. We just don't have the funding.
We should start a broker subscription service.
Hey, Tennessee Tracy, you want to hop in?
That's what we should do.
I got a girl that's wanting to be a showgirl out at Matt's. I'm gonna send her a link.
You get as many loads as you want. We'll book as many loads with you as you want for $1,000 a month. I don't know, some crazy shit. But we need to start a broker subscription service. I mean, there's Netflix. I mean, you can subscription everything. Your mom. Oh my God.
Don't talk about my mom like that. She's a beautiful man.
I wasn't about to type out red light shit, so I was like, your mom.
Oh, you don't like the red light, man? We were
No, I like it. I just couldn't type it while driving.
Oh, well, you're not driving right now, right?
Mom, so.
For insurance purposes.
Well, on that note, my mom is actually here, so if I don't go have dinner with her, she's gonna go torture my wife, and then I will never hear the end of it.
Before we go, I just want to say I love that you still have a CD holder on your visor, Anil. You and me, bro. You and me.
I don't have a CD holder on my
I
visor.
need
What
y'all
are you
to see
talking
the bodies back there.
No,
What the
you can
fuck is
clearly
that
see
above
the
your-
CD holder. Hold on, I'm gonna put this man
Oh,
on
the
blast.
CD
Yeah.
holder. Yeah,
Oh,
that's my
he
fucking
thought you were
wife's,
saying
man.
CB. CB.
Oh.
No, this is my fucking wife's car, man. See, like, there's like jewelry and shit there. This is like
Bro,
not
don't
me,
lie. Don't lie. He knows that's his. He knows it is.
dude. What the fuck is in here? There's
Bro, I still
He's-
got my
the
CD holder
only-
from back in
There
high
she
school.
the only
is.
way I will tell you the only way you know this is mine is if there's an Aqua CD up here.
Hey guys, shut up. My
Was
wife.
your house
Figure
from a
that shit
burning
out.
building?
You figure
Hey.
that shit out.
Hey, you guys, shut up. My wife's in here. Tracy, how you doing, darling?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Hey, peace
We're
out,
hanging
guys.
out.
Later, Neil.
How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Good. What y'all up to?
Lounging. It's your
Lounging.
first time in here. You ever heard of us before?
I have. Yeah. Prodigal. Can't see him, but I hear him somewhere. See him?
Oh,
What's his I mean, like his voice. Somebody say something.
Anil just left.
Anil, yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, he just left. He's going to dinner with his mom and his wife.
Okay. Yeah, I recognize his voice. I've listened before, like when y'all talk and stuff. And anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to see
What you
y'all.
got going on this Friday? You know, we got a ladies' night for women in logistics going on.
Do
If you wanna-
you?
Yeah, we got a bunch of girls hopping in.
All
If you want to
right.
join on in, come on. We'll send you a link.
Do y'all serving up cocktails?
Well,
It is
it's
BYOB.
BYOB.
BYOB. Well, you're more than welcome to come. We have some incredible ladies coming and hanging out with
Do
us.
you?
I don't know if you're on LinkedIn, and I've only seen you like in some spaces I've been in. Like I've never talked to you. I don't know much about you, but I've heard good things about you. So I will say that. No bad.
Oh,
But-
good.
We have some really incredible ladies from the industry coming on this Friday. So if you're free, we'll be live on X, and if
Wow.
you want to come hang out, then just let us know, and we'll drop you a link. You come and chop it up with some amazing ladies in logistics.
And just
It'll-
shoot the crap with you guys.
That's
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different than the spaces, you know. It'll be a little more controlled. Rob and I will probably just jump out and let y'all run the show. But
Yeah. So who was sent me the link about asking about the
oh, that was me. Yeah, one of my girls that I went to college with. I told her about because she does some modeling stuff and whatnots, and she hopped in one of our spaces last night and she messaged me. She's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" And I was like, "It's gonna sound weird, but you know, it's just us and a bunch of truck drivers and shit. And, you know, I got this show going on." And I told her about Matt's, and it just came up out of the blue. I was like, "Well, yeah, you know, you can go to these shows, and they'll pay you a good bit just to be a pretty lady around all these truck drivers." And she was like, "Hell yeah, let me know." So I was like, "All right, I gotta contact Miss Tracy." So
Yeah, so mine was I did it for Bikers Week. I was hired out for Bikers Week. Basically, this was in Myrtle Beach. And what happened was they had all different kind of sponsors for the whole week. But the one particular bar that I was hired at was Suck, Bang, and Blow was the name of the bar. Did I tell y'all that?
Oh my gosh!
sounds right.
And I just basically had to sit on the bike all week and just have guys come sit up there on the bike and take pictures, and I'd be the arm candy on the back. But here's the thing, I'm 50, so this was like,
Stop lying.
I'm serious. I'm
Hey.
into health and fitness, and I take really good care of myself. I don't do anything. I'm all natural. Like I don't do Botox and all this filler. I don't do any of that stuff. I just am really into fitness and taking care of myself, and always have been. But this was like, I was like 30, so it was like 20 years ago, maybe even 29. So all that's gone now. But that was in my youth, I guess you would say.
So, hey, Tracy, for obviously those who don't know you, like what what exactly do you do in our industry? Like, what's your game?
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I really do nothing in your industry. I was joking one day and I was like, you know, this day and age, you can identify as whoever you want to identify with. And I'm going to identify as a trucker because those are the most hardworking, real dudes in the industry. They just are the backbone of America. And I just was like, I identify as a trucker. That's it. And I happened to be on a space. I was joking around. I was traveling to Ohio at the time. And I was like, you know, after talking to Georgia and Captain and all these stories, I look at truckers all differently now. After hearing all their stories, what is happening in the back of these cabs?
Oh wait,
There you go.
Who's got peanut butter? What is happening?
Is this where the bleaching thing came from?
Oh, hey now we say that for the spaces, but yeah, transparent toilets and coffee cups. That's all we'll say. That.
All right. I mean, I've never met Miss Tracy, so I guess I must have I heard the aftermath of that episode. But,
Yes.
But I was never involved, so it's a pleasure to meet somebody as famous as you, I guess, if that was all you. So thank you.
It was so fun. It was a fun space. Like we had a really good time. And it was funny. I don't know if y'all ever like been in a situation where something's just kind of thrown at you and you're just rolling with it, you know? So I was just rolling. Let's talk. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, and you got Ryan in your ear the whole time.
Yeah.
He's a little instigator over there.
He kind of brings out the worst in you, doesn't he? And anytime he sends me a leak, I know there's some trouble happening.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you get with them New York cats, man.
Yeah.
Spice this up a little bit. Let me see what Miss Tracy's up to.
He's funny. He is a hoot. He sent me a thing a while back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Things got kind of wild." And I'm like, "Listen, we're on Spaces. You don't have anything to apologize for. Nothing I can't handle. So, and nothing I hadn't seen before."
You got that right.
We didn't get to be 50 by taking stuff personally. I can tell you.
Absolutely. Like, leave your feelings at the door. I'm okay. I'll be all right. If it's something, that's the great thing about Spaces, that leave button. You just leave, you know.
It works.
It works. You just get up out of here. But that's it.
That's good, Jazz. So what you got going in the crop? I heard you talking about you growing your gardens.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee's been giving up with some good weather here lately.
You know, it's so funny. The people that know me, they're always like, "Oh my God, you got such a California look with a Tennessee heart." And that's so me. Like, I'm so into health and fitness, but I love to go out there and get my feet in the dirt and my fingers dirty. But then I like to come home and dress up and go out to, go down Nashville. So, but no, I'm planting. I'm getting all that ready for springtime, and I'm really into our food source is really corrupted. It's big government with our food, and I feel like if we can just take it back to the small town farmers, and I buy my own meat from my local farmer, and I process my own foods, and so I grow what I can grow, and
so
that's pretty much
I know it's not really logistics related, but I really like that you said that. There is actually several counties, and there's a couple of state senators and Congress people that are trying to pass a thing here in Texas that we start sourcing locally. Like, that is the primary source first. And they want to do it for schools, hospitals, and something else. Like, they're not trying to do it like across the board grocery stores, but like their thing is just what you said. Hey, we need to start taking control back of our food, and
right.
Start sourcing from local farmers and supporting them and local growers and getting those things out on the tables, for our kids, which I think is a really fantastic place to start because, kids learn from adults. And if they only get crappy processed junk stuff, that's what they're going to grow up and continue to eat. So I love that. I like that you talked about we need to get control of our stuff, because I can't think of the company, but there's that one company that they're in control of what
everything.
is it, 75% And then you have Bill Gates, who is buying up like massive
I'm at a
plots
farm.
of farmland. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And
Yes.
people are like, oh, that doesn't mean nothing. And I'm like, dude, when a tech billionaire decides I want to get into farming, like, dude, I'm sorry.
Red lights, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Exactly. And just what's going into our foods. Like, I used to think that anything in the grocery store, had to be healthy for us, right? I mean, like, but it's not. It's fake foods. And just knowing that and what it does to our bodies, and it's just, it just all makes sense. Get back to the basics.
Yeah, and especially growing a garden. I mean, I've definitely had a green thumb in my time. I've grown corn and tomatoes and peppers and okra. I mean, getting out there and getting away from everything and getting your hands dirty, like you said, it's hard to beat.
Don't you think there's a difference between homegrown tomatoes and like ones in the grocery store? Like you can taste.
Oh, 1000%. I don't even like tomatoes, but like when I would grow tomatoes, I just look at them. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna force myself to like them, and I just eventually did. But I do like hot pickled green tomatoes. I jar them up with my mama, and it's a good time. But even like looking at okra, you look at pickled okra in the jar that you get at the grocery store. They're tiny, but okra grows so fucking fast, it's insane. Like you can't pick them fast enough. But yeah, I think it would be cool though, for kids especially. Like obviously get them outside of the classrooms. But shit, have like a little classroom garden. They can grow some food, bring some peppers and whatnot back to the house. Like it takes nothing to grow some corn. Learn how to prune a little tomato plant and get it growing up. And make sure that ain't nothing sitting on the ground. And yeah, I think it's good.
Absolutely.
Self-sufficient.
Absolutely.
I don't talk about this often. I actually don't think I've ever talked about this on the show. So I grew up, my family, my mother's generation and the generation before her, we in the panhandle of Florida, my family owned, I don't know, probably 1,000+ acres between the bunch of us, and everyone lived in the same area. Everyone grew something different. We had corn, we had cattle, we had okra, watermelon, just the tomatoes, everything that you could think of. And I grew up spending my summers at our family farm, shucking corn by hand and going and then feeding the corn shucks to the cattle, going out and picking watermelons, off the vine, and tomatoes and potatoes and all of these things. And I'll tell you that it is different, even though I don't eat every vegetable out there. My wife is the veggie lover, but it is extremely different. Like corn, I tell my wife, anytime that we have fresh corn in the grocery store, like that's what I want. I want it in the husk, not in a bag. Like let's do that.
I'm telling you, Rob, I don't know if you can do it in Texas, but Tennessee's got that soil that you just can't match. But dude, picking a piece of corn off the stalk, dude, you can eat it raw. And it is the sweetest, best.
Yeah,
dude, it was the same thing with our watermelons. Like we would go and we pick watermelons, and obviously like we sold most of it, but like most farmers, they put in what, I don't know if it's still called this, but like a bumper crop. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a construction person. When you bid a job, you add 10 to 15% material onto it for stuff that may be messed up. And so when we did the harvest, if our bumper crop was left, we would eat everything. And dude, we would pick watermelon right off the vine, and dude, you would eat it 10 minutes later. Tomatoes, you'd pick them, and then they were in the dinner that we made. We even had catfish stock ponds, dude, where all the kids would go out and catch fish, and then they would fry it like right there, right after we caught it, and you'd eat it. And now that I think about it, I told my wife this. I said, how fucked up is it that my mom and my aunts and uncles and all my great aunts and uncles were pro child labor? Like we did all the work.
Hell dude, dude. If you're on that farm, man, more hands make for less work. You got to do something. You ain't gonna sit around all day.
How they bribed us. So we were from a place called Vernon, Florida. It's about 45 minutes north of Panama City Beach. And so what they did is they say, hey, if you guys go out, you pick the corn, you do this, you do that, whatever, we'll take you to the beach this afternoon. And it's like, man, that didn't cost them anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, cost them nothing, and they totally scammed us with doing all of their work.
Yeah, back in the old days, people would have kids just to work in the garden.
That's right. That's 100%
free
right.
labor.
Them hands are good at pulling weeds.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it.
That's true though. Yeah, no, my great grandparents, they had 175 acres down in Alabama. We still got the farm, thank God. But that was the thing. You'd go there during the summertime, or like even my granddaddy and his brother and sister, they'd wake up at the break of dawn, get out to work, and they wouldn't come home till the sun went down.
Exactly. You know, I think
Have you some homemade buttermilk and some cornbread sitting on the table if you needed a snack, and
the good old days. And to me, there's a lot to be said for, you know, something went wrong when the cell phones all came out and the kids got the cell phones and started sitting down playing video games. You know, I remember saying to my granddaddy, "Oh, I'm so bored." He'd say, "Well, go out there and count some grass blades. Like, I can
go
find
throw
you
a
something
rock
to
at
do."
something.
Yeah, I can find you something to do. And so I can't imagine growing up having like a cell phone and video games and all that right at your fingers like the kids have today.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it is wild though. Like, you know, when I was a kid, like I'm 29, I'm about to turn 30, but you know, we had video games. Cell phones weren't really a thing at that point, but we'd get bored. We'd ride our bikes. We'd go down the power line. We'd go push a tree down. Like, you know, do something. Get outside. Like,
Hey, when I was
knees
young,
dirty.
we had a neighborhood streaker.
Yikes.
that we'd always like instigate. Hey, let's go take our bikes and ride by his house and like just instigate.
Yeah.
Just
You got
poke
the weird guy. Like, yeah, let's go spy on this dude. Like,
that's how crazy we were.
Come up with some backstory. Like, yeah, that's
the house
guy.
you avoid on Halloween.
Yeah, I heard if you go there at a certain time, he kidnap you.
He
ain't got no teeth. He'll nibble on your toes and then let you go. It's like, well, I don't want to go near that house. But, yeah.
Exactly.
And nowadays I'm the weird parent because my kids are only allowed an hour of technology a day. All the other parents think I'm the weird parent.
That's the shit that sucks, dude. I think it's so whack. I don't have any kids, but like parents using these iPads and just putting on that Cocoa Melon or whatever the fuck it is, and just like it's literally an excuse for them not to be parents. First of all, in my opinion, like you're not raising them kids. Like you're just distracting them. And then people wonder why those kids get so disconnected from them when they start growing up and they don't know anything about you and they don't. I mean, it's wild to me. Like kids that are 10 years younger than me, you walk down the street or you go anywhere in public and you see them, and I walk with my head up and I'm wave to people, give them the head nod, whatever, and they just look at you like you're a crazy person.
Right.
There's no. Hey, we're waiting in line. What's going on? Like, how you doing today? It's everybody with their head in their phones. Everybody's having their phone party.
Exactly.
Let's just use the AT&T outage as all the proof that we need. Bro,
I'm convinced there's still people in their bunkers. They think that the end of the world happened.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Just imagine if like all the cell towers and stuff like went down, dude, and the country would just be absolutely crippled, man. It's nuts how dependent we are on
technology and stuff.
Yeah.
Did that affect any of y'all? Because I know it affected me. Like okay.
Yeah, I literally I did not have any service, and I was going to buy a car that day. And when I got to the car dealership, I said, "Hey man, I need to hook up to your Wi-Fi so I can transfer money, so I can pay you this deposit." And as soon as I hooked up, it was ding 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 for like 45 seconds straight. It was absolutely crazy. And I missed making money that day. It did, because I missed emails and loads and stuff, and I missed making money for that part of the morning.
Yeah, it's crazy how much I actually thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy how much this affected like my life. Like, that is just like crazy how you don't realize how addicted you are to
I bet when your phone wasn't working, you still tried to like Google why is my phone not working?
I mean, I
And
was
it couldn't
like,
pull anything up.
I was like, is it me? What is going on? Let me try this device. Let me try another device. Let me try something else, you know?
Yeah. Nah, but that is wild though, because I even catch myself. I'll be driving down the road and I'll see a bunch of ambulances going by, and I'm like, I wonder what's going on. So I'll like get on my phone and I'm like, wrecks near me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, truly, like if you wanted some news, people do look to their phones. There's no newspapers, like all the news now on TV is just what's going on outside of our control. They're talking about Israel and
Everything
immigrants
else.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah, and like local news is just covering on things that happened a couple days ago. So it's like nobody talks to anybody about anything. Nobody's like in touch. Everybody's just in touch with what we see on our cell phones, on our social media platforms, what people tell each other. If they're and shit, I'm glad the X made the blue check mark more accessible nowadays, because I remember back, like, especially during COVID times, that shit was nuts. But like, you'd have these basketball players, these people that, Hollywood, whatnot, they'd make their opinion, but they got a million followers, and whatever statement they made, people be like, okay, that's factual. That is what is going on. But nobody does their own research. Nobody does everything. Everybody's just dependent on the accessibility, the quickness, and not having to do anything.
Well,
They
I
go
love
on
that
about
y'all
their
get
way.
together and do this. This is a really good thing that y'all are actually like video calling and seeing each other, and it's the next best thing to being in person,
Yeah.
That's true. Even though we have completely gone off the rails here.
Yeah, this is not a typical lounge
I'm
lounge
sorry. I'm
session,
sorry.
but
Did I bust it up? I'm sorry.
No, we know. If we started with Sage and getting on the goddamn EV talk, and
yeah, he got you riled up, man. He got under that
bro,
skin. I knew it happened.
you know what, man? It's because, and I'm not saying I'm by far not the brightest bulb in the box, man. I am with everything I do and every way I think. I'm a logical, critical thinker. Like, even when it comes to science stuff, I'm like, dude, that's all great, but I don't know. Like, 1+1 doesn't equal 4 to me, and so, and I don't know. I look into things, and I don't know. I just don't think the whole, climate, what is it?
Agenda.
Yeah.
Agenda.
Dude, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Like,
I don't either.
I just don't. I mean, and I'm not saying that we don't have a problem, because I would be the first one to say humans have ruined this fucking planet. We
Right.
have. There is absolutely no going back. We have done the damage. I watched a documentary called Black Gold on Max not too long ago. Dude, all the oil companies knew about this shit in the 70s. Like, all of this stuff, all the damage that we were doing, people knew about it. Nobody did anything. It's all about profits. And the only reason this EV shit is big is because they're being funded with taxpayer dollars. If they weren't getting grants and kickbacks, nobody would give a shit. Nobody. Same thing.
Do you follow that used car guy on
No,
X?
I don't.
So he posted the other day that, like, all the EV manufacturers are starting to discount cars so bad that, like, you basically could buy them for pre-pandemic pricing. Like, it's crazy how far all these guys are discontinuing. Apple today discontinued their EV project.
Did y'all know we had a big plant here in Tennessee, a Ford factory EV plant opening up, and now they're like, it's not. They don't think it's going to open up. Like, it's a huge deal. Did you know that?
I did hear that.
In Tennessee here.
I know. I'm in Tennessee, but what part's Lebanon?
Oh God,
Or-
and it's between. It's right near Jackson.
Okay.
Right near between, like, I'm not really familiar with. I mean, I've only been here 3 years, but it's near Jackson is where it was going to open up. But it was a big, huge truck plant. I'm not sure if it was Chevy or Ford. I want to say it's Ford.
Yeah, it was the Ford Lightning.
Yeah. I mean, dude, back during COVID, and when everybody was getting big into crypto, and the microchip shortage was going on, there was like a football field full of vehicles that they couldn't even do anything with. So they would have to roll one truck through manufacturing, and then they'd take the chip from that truck and roll it through, like, and Don't get me started on that. Even EV vehicles nowadays, I don't want a computer as a vehicle. Like, I want
Which
to be
is
able to pop my hood open and fucking change my oil, change my air filter. Fucking like
It,
shit
which
is
is
so
why
difficult nowadays, man. It's ridiculous.
yeah, that,
why I just bought a 10-year-old car. And why
yeah.
I just got out of a 20-year-old car.
Dude, I'm about to get me a horse and buggy. I'm going Amish style out here, man.
You
I'm
know,
about to
You know that
2
mess.
horsepower. Catch me on the drag strip.
Yeah.
But-
I'm a
Get a car with a
diehard
crank
Ford
handle.
guy.
But
Sorry.
Same, man. Same.
Yeah,
but
I'm
JB, sorry, bro.
No, I said
Go
get
ahead.
a car with a crank handle.
Yeah.
Crank the old Model A off the front, right? So yeah, and I'm a huge Ford guy. So, but in 2020, they basically made Ford's PCMs and BCMs, the power control module and body control modules, the brain of the car, so that they can update it whenever they want and change it to whatever parameters they want remotely.
Right.
Dude,
So
I heard
and you don't have to give them permission. They do it remotely whether you want it or not.
Right.
So my neighbor who just bought a new one, a 22, took a PCM out of a 19 and reprogrammed the whole thing so they couldn't fuck with his truck. But
Wow.
here's the other weird one, right? So a lot of these auto manufacturers, what they did is they shuttled all these plants. They started shuttling them prior to COVID. So if you go back and look, they started winding down plant after plant after plant, because what they're doing is if they let them sit long enough, then they go cry to the government and say, hey, listen, we had to shut these plants down. It is what it is. We're going to do this new, we're going to jump on board to this EV thing that they had already knew was coming. If you give us money, we'll reopen that plant. So they go to the state governments, the federal government, and they say, hey, y'all kick us some money, we'll open these plants back up. Then they go in and open them back up as EV plants. And that's the scam keeps going around and around and around. So I'm 100% with you on this EV scam, man. I think the technology is there and it'll be there eventually. I just it's not there now, but I think it'll be there eventually.
dude,
But right now it's a joke.
hydrogen is the way we need to start going right now. And I know there's a lot of difficulties in dealing with that stuff, man. But even on the hybrid level, like, yeah, it still involves EV, but I mean, dude, like, that's the natural progression that we need to make. And I want to just use Toyota and I can't think of who the other one is, but Toyota.
Hyundai.
Dude, maybe it's Hyundai, but I love Fords. I'm a Ford guy too. Dad, man, like, I don't know, I've just always had very good luck with them. But dude, even the greatest car manufacturer of all time, and I don't care what anyone says, Toyota, like, those people have broken so many barriers and grounds as when it comes to automotive engineering and technology, simplicity, everything. Even they said, we're pulling out this EV shit. It is not viable. This is not going to work for the short term, not for the long term, at least not right now. We are switching back to hydrogen.
Right.
And it is, man, I literally just saw a Toyota yesterday when I was out shopping, and it was an EHV, which is a electric hybrid or electric hydrogen vehicle or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but dude, I saw it and I was like, what the hell is that? That is so freaking cool looking. And dude, I Googled it and I was like, holy shit, that's a hydrogen vehicle.
Yeah. Have you thought about this, guys? This is just another topic, but I mean, same subject. Have you thought about the way we're headed with these self-driving cars and stuff? Like, do they not want, one day our kids aren't going to even learn how to drive?
Well, dude, all right. So we talked
Right?
about
Like, have
this.
y'all
We
thought about
talked about
that?
this. I don't know if it was on Spaces or if it was on here, but number one, those cars can get hacked,
Yeah.
and it's happened, but nobody talks about it. Now you see those. What is it? The Apple.
Cruises.
No, the little headsets you can get where it's like
The
it's like
VR
not
glasses.
Oculus. Yeah,
the fucking
dude, you see
VR.
people sitting in Teslas
Yeah.
driving down the highway, but then they're sitting there like
doing other
gambling,
yeah.
watching basketball, sending emails. Like, it's insane.
I can see the
Like,
day where kids are just like, drive. I don't have to drive. I just get in the car and it just drives itself. I don't need to get my license. Like, I don't know. I just see
they're
the
not going to
day.
leave their house.
Yeah, exactly.
If
And-
they even
and to
have
bring
a
it-
house, they'll probably be living in pods.
Yeah, in pods, yeah. And to
Getting
bring
fed
that,
through
and
a
to bring that
tube and-
back, they were talking about the Warner nuclear verdict, right? So now imagine what happens if that's an autonomous vehicle, that it crosses the road and hits and I don't know if you know about this, Miss Tracy, but there was an accident where a car was traveling, let's call it westbound, a semi-trailer was traveling eastbound. The guy lost control of his car, crossed over into the eastbound lane, and struck the tractor trailer. And there was a major lawsuit, and the trucking company just had what they call a nuclear verdict for $100 million against them.
Wow. No, I didn't hear
Guy's
that.
minding his own business, driving down the road and gets hit and people died, and the families and the business, everybody sued the trucking company,
Right.
and it's a $100 million verdict. So
Wow.
imagine that you take that and make that an autonomous vehicle. Now what happens? You know what I mean? Now,
Good question.
Now who do you sue? Who do you go
same
after?
shit'll happen. It'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
Whoever owns that truck, just like if it was Warner or whoever else, they're going to get sued,
Yeah.
driverless or not. Because that lawsuit right there proves it doesn't matter if you're in the right or the wrong.
Oh,
So
100%.
it doesn't matter.
Well, guys, I got to run, but I want to thank you guys for having me. I enjoyed joining my first show. This was awesome.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Miss Tracy.
Absolutely, Miss Tracy.
Yes, don't call me Miss Tracy.
All right,
Call me
Tracy.
Tennessee Tracy.
I'll call you my wife. When's our
Just
next
call me.
date?
Don't call me. Just call me. All right, guys. I'll see you. Take care.
Later.
Hell yeah. Now I can go back to being the diva on the channel. No, I'm kidding.
That is so fucking true.
Second I come on, then she comes on. I was like, fuck JB.
No.
What's up, girl?
Jay who? What? Fuck.
JB, come on. Hold on 1 second. We got this hot 50-something-year-old woman coming on. Just sit right there.
You guys are something else.
We got
man.
Rob in trouble.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did.
Bye.
You got me in trouble. That's exactly.
Hey, it's okay, man. Don't talk about my wife like that.
I didn't even know who she was. I've only seen her in like the spaces and stuff. I didn't know, she's a Kelly. That's what she is, bro. She's a Kelly, but on the X side. You know what I mean? One of those people that just just stumbled into the logistics side of stuff because they're like, man,
The only reason I know of her is because of Ryan, and then I don't know the full story, but I'm not arguing against it. But JB, what's going on your side of the world? Where you driving at, brother?
I am going back home, actually. I wouldn't pick this load up out of the Gastonia yard. I get like 50 miles from delivery in Darlington, start my week or whatever. And they called me and like, yeah, they're not going to unload you. We need you to take that back to Gastonia. And I'm just like, I'm so defeated. So we're actually on our way back home.
Hell yeah.
Still getting paid, I hope.
Yeah, I'm still getting paid. So I'm actually getting paid pretty good to take it back. So
Thank you, Steven.
She feels bad for me. So the only person I feel bad for is one of my owner-operators bought a 2020 KW 680 or whatever. And he went to go pick it up out of Little Rock, Arkansas, took it to Chattanooga because the MAC Kenworth was going to fix a few more things on it. And the damn thing's clutch went out. $5,000 for a damn clutch and an automatic.
And he just bought it. Oh.
He just bought it. Literally signed paperwork, went and picked it up and brought it back to Chattanooga, and the damn clutch went out on the way. They updated the software, and then the software threw a code so the clutch was in catastrophic mode, about to fail.
Bro, goes back to software, right? Goes back to technology. What the fuck does the clutch on your truck have anything to do with technology? Like, we've had clutches on vehicles for almost 100 years, never had a problem with them. But the second we attach an electronic component to it, now it is not only a clutch problem, it is an electronics problem. I'm telling you, bro,
Yeah.
I like technology, but I'm also in a way anti-technology, and you know, I know we could say, oh, your parents said the same thing when the internet came out and so forth, so on. Like, but here is my whole thing with it, and this with everything trucking, and I'll just put it to trucking because this is a logistics lounge. So we'll make it a trucking point. In my opinion, technology makes people dumber. I really feel that because in any part of your life, just think about this. In any part of your life, if someone hands you a hammer and that hammer works okay, but then they give you a nail gun and you're like, oh, this changes my life. Hammering doesn't matter anymore. And it just I don't know, it makes people lazier and it makes people a little bit dumber. And you want to bring it back to vehicles. Here's my thing. Do you know why we have blind spot monitoring and all this anti-braking stuff? Because people are fucking idiots. And instead of paying attention to the road, we got our hand in our phone and we're staring off into la la land. I mean, it's dude, pull up to a red light and you see a person who sits at a red light, light turns green, and they sit there for 5 seconds. We all know what they're doing. They pulled up to a red light and picked up their phone and are scrolling. Like, you know, it's like we are so fixated on that technology. That person couldn't go 30 seconds without picking up their phone and doing something. Blind spot monitoring. What's the problem with checking your mirrors and your blind spot like people have done for 100 years? I mean, I don't know. The autonomous vehicle, I think it's a scam, bro. We have no need for it. Actually, you know why we have a need for it is exactly what I said, because people are idiots. And the only solution to there being safe highways now apparently is to completely take humans out of the situation. That, just think about that. Think about how serious that is. And you know, I mean, again, I'm not an autonomous vehicle person. I know that's where we're headed. But again, it's just another one of those technologies that is being funded by tax breaks and tax funding, and they're shoving it down our throat because there's endless money to back it. And it doesn't matter whether it works or if it serves the purpose, as long as we can get it out there and make people use it. That's all that matters. So yeah, I'm not a really big fan of all the technology that we put into stuff. I think there's a place for it, but I just think that, man, just some things, like, dude, the old saying that goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I mean, you don't have to reinvent the mousetrap or the wheel. Like, dude, the wheel has worked perfectly fine for what, 10,000? I have to go look back when the wheel was invented, but let's just say 10,000 years. It's worked perfectly fine. Like, we don't need to reinvent it. There's no need to do it. You're not going to make a more perfect circle than we already have. So,
Well,
yeah.
and you started this off by saying, and our parents said, you know, probably the same thing about the internet, that it was, you know, whatever. We should have listened, right? We should have gone against it back then and listened better instead of trying to embrace it. You know, prime example, you know, my Mac, it's got a Cummins motor in it. So when I go to Mac and I said, hey, there's an update, Mac says, no, there's not. Well, Cummins says there's actually 3 updates that you've missed. Oh, well, Mac doesn't show that. Well, you put the fucking motor in it. I didn't. So, you know, I don't know. Like it's crazy. You know, the technology is just dumb.
It is. I mean, I agree, bro. I mean, I don't know. And Dad, I don't think you and I've ever talked about like what our ages amongst each other are. But I mean, dude, I'm 39. Personally, I'm still young, man. And you know, there's only a 10-year age gap between Hunter and I. But dude, the shit that Hunter is like accustomed to and knows and like implements in his life as far as technology on a daily basis is way more than me, dude. I'll use this point, bro. I have the newest, biggest, most baddest Samsung phone that they have on the market right now. You know what I use it for? Calls and texts. And I got some apps. Like, dude, we
now go 10 years the other way.
Yeah,
right.
We can go back to flip 50. Phones tomorrow, and I'm good, bro.
Right. Yeah. So you know you're you know, you got 30, 40, and 50, right? So you know, you got kind of 3 decades of like, holy shit. And you know, I try to figure this stuff out. You know, I don't want to be left behind, so you try to figure it out. I don't like it, but I'll figure it out.
I try, bro. If it wasn't coincidentally, my wife is, I don't know how she's so technologically advanced. Like she just, dude, she knows stuff that I don't understand. And even my kids, man, they obviously teach me stuff every day, but I don't know. I just don't see a point in a lot of it. And especially when it comes to vehicles, like in more so trucks, I mean, it couldn't again, like the more crutches, and that's what I think technology is when it comes to vehicles. Blind spot monitoring, the cruise control stuff, the backup cameras, tire pressure monitoring system. Well, that one I kind of like, but again, it's all these things that are crutches. Well, I mean, dude,
No, my
again, bro,
wife's
I
car
get
almost
it.
killed me in Boston. My wife's Honda almost killed me because I got right up on, there was a guy riding in my blind spot and he kept trying to come over to my side, but he couldn't because he was in my blind spot. So I got on it, tried to get up on right on the guy in front of me to get around. And sure as shit, the fucking thing threw the brakes on and almost killed me because it
Dude,
thought I was going to hit the car in front of me.
my
Asshole,
wife
I know how to drive. Turn this fucking shit off.
my
I don't need
wife's
it.
car did the same thing, bro. Dude, so I've noticed my wife has a 2019 or a 2020 Mazda CX-5 fucking platinum quadruple gold. Like, I don't know. It's got every freaking thing on it you could want. But it's got the thing like you were just talking about, man. And when you go around curves, like it'll ping the person if they're far enough in front of you, and it'll think that someone's cutting in front of you. Dude, that thing has hit the brakes on me so many times. And dude, when you're driving, that shit's scary. Like you almost freak out because you're like, holy shit, what's going on? And you know what I mean? It's like, dude, that did not make me feel safe at all. Like, do you really? Yes, dude, I
Yeah.
love how she said this. Dude, when I get in my wife's car, she gets mad because I turn all the
I turned all
electronics
that
off.
shit off, dude. All of
Dude,
it. All of it.
dude, even the auto fucking
Headlights.
no,
Turn them
not
off.
the hell, like the wipers. It's like, dude, it is sprinkling. I don't need my wipers going 90 miles a fucking hour
Oh my
while
God,
I'm
dude,
going
yeah.
down the road, man. Oh man. But even the trucks, we just yes, Steven, dude, I'm so glad you brought that up. Snow with those autonomous vehicles, dude, they have literally been stopped by bird shit and ice buildup. Like, how, like, seriously, hey, I get it. Like, hey, you can't think of everything, but dude, seriously, bird shit and ice. So, anyway, dude, the truck stuff, man, we had just talked about a thing, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, brother, about they are trying to put more of the cameras on trucks for the use of mirrors. Again, dude, stupid fucking idea, completely stupid. I mean, what is it with cameras? Like, again, here's our dependency on a technology that could fail. And if it fails, what do? You ain't got no mirrors on your truck as a backup. You ain't got no mirrors on the bunk. You can pull over and throw them on your truck. Not like most truck drivers even have tools or even know how to put a damn mirror on the truck nowadays anyway. But I dealt with that stuff, man, when I was at US Express when those were first a thing, and I had the little camera on my passenger side, bro. I dealt with it for about 3 weeks, and I went back to our terminal. I said, "You ain't got to disconnect this shit, but I want a fucking mirror on the passenger side of my truck, and I want a blind spot mirror on the passenger side of my truck." Your stupid thing. I went through a rainstorm, and water got in here and completely disabled my. I mean, it worked, but all I saw was this big old water spot in my thing. It's like, dude, like, you know how long it took me to back into places, how many times I had to get out and look and do all these other things because you put some stupid camera on the side of my truck and didn't give me a backup for any way. Like, it's stuff like that, man. It's like we put these things in, but where are the redundancies to them? Where are the things that, like, if that camera goes out, what do? You know what I mean? Like the autonomous vehicle thing. Oh, we don't want to have drivers in the seats. Okay, well, what happens when that thing shuts down? What if there are 40 trucks going through on the same highway in a snowstorm, and every single one of them have to come to a stop because the ice and the snow build up? Who's going to get out and clean that off the truck? How long is that truck going to sit on the side of the road before someone comes over there with a bottle of Windex and a paper towel and cleans the stuff off of those cameras that run that autonomous truck.
You can't clean
Yeah,
it off. They just sit there and they die.
That's
I
what I'm
think a
saying.
Maverick, when you talk about the side mirrors, they have the ones with just the camera, and it's like, how is that even legal? When
I see.
if the electronics can fail, you still need a mirror there, plain and simple. Like that shit terrifies me to death. Let alone the extra cost. It's a giant ass fucking TV screen. Like I'm sure that thing costs $500 by itself if it goes out or more.
Probably more. But I like what Steven's saying here. That is true. On some of the high end vehicles, the Euros, they have little windshield wipers for their headlights and even the sensors. Though they have cleaning systems on there. But yeah,
Yeah.
bull snot. You get you some bull snot. JB, are you a bull snot user?
What was
Am
that?
I coming through?
Yes.
I hear you.
Do you use bull snot?
I have not yet.
We gotta get you in touch with Dan.
I'm gonna stop and get some. I got that app downloaded on my phone.
Brew,
I just,
hey,
Did you get? Don't say it right here because we only had the one chance on live, but we can send it to you, JB, the code.
Yeah, I remember it from the other night. I was watching.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited to meet that cat at Matt's.
Yeah, you
See, that's
guys are
gonna
gonna
be
have
so
fun
fun.
there. Matt's is fun.
Dude, I'm gonna
We're
get some for my own personal vehicle. Like everything he has, dude, heavy duty. I
Bro,
need that.
we're gonna have to buy a wagon to like haul all the free shit that we're gonna get. I'm
Dude,
serious.
take you
We're
a
gonna need to
backpack.
get. We're gonna need no. A backpack ain't gonna do it, bro. You have no idea all the people that Hunter and I have talked to. Like, oh man, you gotta stop by our booth. You gotta stop by our booth. You gotta stop by our booth. And all of them are gonna have like crap that we don't want to say crap, but stuff that we know
Ooh,
we're gonna want to take.
we can give. Hey,
Yeah.
Steven, you need to share one of those stickers you got on your truck. I know you're the sticker bandit, or those big. I don't know if there's stickers or whatever you want to call them, but yeah, man, a good redneck van show for Bull Snot.
You're
Redneck, are you going to Matt's? I'm sure he's still watching. He'll chime in here soon.
Of course. Yeah, when I
no,
went to
I'm not.
Matt's a
I'm
couple
not,
years
Claudia.
ago.
I was going to drive, but Hunter and I like realized that I was going to leave Thursday, and Hunter and I were going to get to Matt's like late Thursday night, and then we went on there. And we're looking at the schedule, and we're like, "Holy crap, man! They have this this welcome party going on Thursday night." And Hunter's like, "Dude, we can't miss that. Like, that's the first like hurrah for the whole show." So I am going to be flying now. As much as I hate flying and being in a encapsulated vehicle with other human beings with no way out, I'm going to bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah, they have like one night, it's like opening night, then they have one for like VIPs, then one night for the public, and I think there's another night for something else. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, so Thursday they have like a breakfast thing and not like a ton of crazy stuff going on. Obviously there'll be things outside, but that night they have a thing for like people who are doing booths, media, and some other people. They have like a welcome drink dinner thing going on. I'd have to go look at the exact verbiage that they used, but yeah, they're going to have that. And so someone was like, Hunter brought it up, and we talked to someone and mentioned it to someone, and they said, dude, you can't miss that one thing. Like, there are a lot of things there that you can like not do, but like you don't want to miss that welcome party, because like so many connections are made there on that first night, and a lot of the big people are there. So Hunter and I definitely want to go to that.
Yeah, make sure you go toward the parking lot with all the truckers.
Oh yeah,
Go around.
no, our buddy. Well, yeah, Indy's gonna be there. I'm definitely gonna check out his truck, and we've talked to a few others. We're gonna try to spend a good like half a day out there at least just to get some cool truck Thursday content and, you know, check out some cool fucking trucks.
You know what I need to do is I need to go play with this gimbal, man. Like, bro,
Yeah, you
this
need to, man. I broke out my GoPro today and I'm like making sure I know how everything works.
no, this thing, it is so.
You got to use it when you're out on your walks, man. Do it like
Yeah,
Indy.
I literally thought about that, bro. Because like on the surface, it looks so simple, but like when you get it in your hand and you like, dude, it does so much and it's so much information. It's kind of like fucking overload. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I was playing with it in my living room and shit, but like they have tutorials on it and everything on YouTube. And like, dude, this thing, bro, like, and it shows it what it looks like with an Apple phone and like a Samsung. Like it shows how it records and everything and what the picture's like. But dude, this thing can do some serious like like camera movements and stuff. It's quite fucking crazy, bro. Like, you know, you can pan out and set it to where it'll pan in and then scroll at like the same time. It's fucking nuts, dude. It does all kinds.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like I'm glad you got that because I'm gonna be recording on my phone. I might wear like one of the chest things or like use the little headpiece from my GoPro and as much video footage as we can get. Like that's gonna be the best. It'll take a minute for us to sit down and chop everything up, but yeah.
Hey, what is Tony's show in May, Steve?
Is that Big Cars and Guitars?
You see, because my wife someone down him a bunch of shows. Hunter and I are going to edit. Hunter and I are going to edit the footage. We already have a plan.
We might have someone else edit it, but
oh well, who you going? Well, who's yeah? Well, we're going to try to have to edit some of it there, or maybe get text to help us. Get text to help us. Yeah, the DJI is legit. What is the DJI, Claudia? I don't know what that is. What's that? And Steven, what's Tony's show? Oh, what's Tony's show? I don't know about that. What is that?
I think it's Big Cars and Guitars.
No, that's. Oh, is that the one? What's the one before? What's the one before?
Cars and Guitars. I think that might.
Is that one out? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's Large Cars and Guitars. Yeah.
Okay. That's
one out past Knoxville.
No, it's a gimbal. Claudia, it's I don't know, it's a little thing your fucking phone goes into. It's got a gyroscope and like controls and stuff. Yeah, it's weird. Whatever DJI is, I have no idea. I'm gonna Google it right now because I feel stupid as shit.
Helps you balance it out so it's not shaky and stuff as you're holding it.
DJI. It's so funny. As soon as I put in DJ, it came up with Django Unchained.
You know what you've been watching here lately?
I love that movie, bro. I love Jamie Foxx, bro. Jamie Foxx is fucking awesome, bro. I love Jamie Foxx.
Did they ever announce what happened to him? Like he was in the
hospital? No, they didn't. But like I understand it, man. He's an extremely private person, always has been. So whatever happened, his little camp has kept it close to the vest. I saw some rumblings that he had like a mini stroke is basically what happened. He had a mini stroke, you know, on set of what was going on. So, but he's got some movies that are coming out that, you know, if you line up with the timeline, were obviously filmed after this issue happened, and he's made some appearances. So, you know, he seems like he's back on the mend, but I love that guy, dude. He is a phenomenal actor. I've been following him since he had the Jamie Foxx show on the WB network in the mid 90s. That's how fucking old I am, bro. Oh, DJI. DJI. Oh, okay. They do like cameras and drones and all kinds of stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool. And microphones, $220 microphones. Bro, you want a DJI Mini 4 Pro drone? $800. I don't know if she was like literally talking about the brand DJI, but oh, dude, they have their version of a gimbal hunter, and it's called the Osmo Mobile 6 Platinum Gray. Like, why can't we just call something like one word? Why do we have to put 15 words in it? It's $150. That's not bad, bro. It's not bad at all.
I'm gonna work with what I got for right now. Maybe next year.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it, Claudia. That's what I was just talking about. That Osmo Mobile 6 Platinum Gray. That's pretty much what I got. Mine was just a little cheaper. I got the one that Tex Crowley recommended to us, and so that's the one that I went and bought. And he's a photographer and professional videographer, so he said that it works for him. So that's what I got. Against technology, yet you're Googling. That is right. That is the one technology I can't live without. We can shut down everything else. I just need Google. Dude, could you imagine? Hey, bro, before Googling, even though I'm totally fine with it, you literally had to have a bookshelf full of encyclopedias that you had to update every single year. That's the information changed. That was a good racket. Dude, the encyclopedia sales game, that was a good racket right there, bro. You sell a set of books to someone for like $4,000. And then they got to buy the whole setup the next year. A DJ, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what brand I got. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up though. I think I got like the gimbal brand. Like, I think that's what I got. Or whatever that brand is. Oh shit, damn. Dude, Amazon has it for $100. You buy it straight from them, it's $150. You go on Amazon, it's $100. Yeah, that's pretty cool. See, I don't even know how to use it though. Steven, I'm telling you, I've got to figure it out, man, because I don't know, it's got all the different settings on it. Obviously, they do different stuff, and I'm like, dude, I just want to freestyle one. Like, I just want to be able to use the joystick and do what I want to do, and not have it tell me anything else. So I don't know. I have to figure it out, man. It's a work in progress. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here because my freaking food is here, and we got ramen, bro. Gonna be so good. Some fucking ramen.
That'll be good.
Hell yeah, dude. My kid found this little joint down the street, dude, just tucked away in this little plaza, and bro, they make some bomb ass ramen, dude.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, JB, we're about to cut out here. If you wanna, I might start up a little space on X here in a minute, but
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I haven't seen you on there in any of them, but I'll be sure to let you know.
I was on there the other day, trying to get my hands on that fucking one dude. I don't remember his name. He'd be bitching about independent contractor and 1099 shit. So.
Oh, that could be anybody.
I don't remember his name.
A couple names come to mind though.
It could be Rich, but I think Rich.
Yeah, that's him, Rich.
Yeah, Rich is just a troll, man. Dude, the first time I hopped in there, I got in a drag out argument with him about drayage, and then I don't know what his platform is. I just know he lives in New Jersey, and
dude,
he wants everybody to unionize. So.
Rich just likes to stir the pot. Like,
yeah, he's
dude,
great.
He is super pro union, and like everyone knows that about him. But like, it took me a while to catch on that he undercover trolls people and like baits them into shit. Dude, it gets people riled the fuck up, and they don't even catch it. And he just sits there and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I get it, man. I totally understand." It just keeps them going, and it is the funniest thing to me, man. I'll be cracking the fuck up at the stuff that Rich gets people into. Really
there's a good little group, man. I hope Alex hops in. JB, you get a kick out of this guy. He's hilarious. He does like I don't know. He hauls a bunch of boats. I think he's got a step deck, but he's funny. But all right, Rob, you want? Well, JB, you got any closing comments?
No, keep your shiny side up. Hopefully, I'll have a load tomorrow and get the hell out of the house. So,
First time home in probably, what, 4 months?
no. I've been home for like a week.
Oh, have
So,
you? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was getting my
Every
truck
time I
fixed.
see you, you're on the damn road, but I guess getting your home time in instead of talking to us dumbasses, but
I was just having to wait on parts and stuff. I had to get my alternator rebuilt. Then I bought a spare one to replace the one that I lost. And I had to wait till Tuesday to get that. So it's just a waiting game is all it was. So it's good to be home for a little bit, but I need to get back out here and make some money. So
That's
and then I've
right.
been dealing with my owner operator and his buying his truck and that clutch issue. He called me just a minute ago, said they got it fixed, so he's ready to roll. So it's good for
There
him.
you
They
go.
paid for it after arguing with him. So
Well, hey, don't let us forget. We got to get you in contact with our buddy Clay that we had on Friday. Trucker Docs. I think you
oh
get to
yeah,
hear.
I remember. I was listening a little bit
Yeah,
when y'all tried to hit me up, and then I got too busy with the wife, and then I think I fell asleep.
yeah, he's a super
So
cool guy, man. I think he'd be able to help you out a lot. And with the platform he's got is super cheap, but it's definitely
I saw it was
worth the
super cheap, but do
$3
you
a
still
month.
have to manually enter that stuff in? Like as far
Um,
as like your trip information?
I don't know. That'd be a question for Clay.
Yeah, that's one of the
But he
questions
also
I
has
had.
big rig services or big rig permit services. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. That was good. I
yeah,
saw
he's
he was
super in
charging for a
touch with it all.
DOT number type deal. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do that, but yeah, the trucker docs. I mean, we'll get you in contact with him. Um, he'll definitely break it down for you, but he's on top of it. When it comes down to like stuff that you need, but yeah, like I said, he'll be the one that gets you all the information.
yep, 10-4.
Right on.
All right.
All right.
With that, we are going to end this first episode of the week, first episode of the last week of February on the Logistics Lounge. We appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're just tuning in, please go back to the beginning of the show, about the first hour, and listen to Will Urban with LuckyTruck, insurance company that they really are trying to help all of you smaller carriers out there with saving money through using technology and other things to help bring your rates down. As someone that has used them personally, they are a fantastic company. The service is great. The rates are great. Just a really good company. So then we kind of went off the rails and we talked about all kinds of other stuff. Damn, Anil, that was a quick to actually say
Yeah,
quick.
hey, no, we're about to move over to X.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
before we move over to X, we're going to move on over to telling you how freaking amazing Shoreline Capital is, because like Hunter has coined the term, it is a sure thing with Shoreline. With that, we're going to bid. Well, actually, Hunter, I'm sorry, bro. Do you have any exiting comments?
See y'all tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get the LinkedIn situation fixed. If you have not yet registered for the Mid-America Truck Show, go on and do that, truckingshow.com. And yeah, any drivers out there, keep the shiny side up. Don't take shit freight if you don't need to. Nobody's forcing you to do that. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. And if you're on here from X, we're going to start a room here in just about 5 seconds. Please do not call me, Rob. And
I'm so sorry, bro. Like, I know you said you were
yeah,
going
we
to
had
the
a good
room.
one going. Yeah,
Dude, it
I'm
was
about to
just
start
out
the
of
after
habit,
party.
Hunter. Like, it's just out of habit. Like, you know it was. I just like.
I know. Well, it didn't close down the whole room. I just couldn't hear anybody. But yada yada yada. Whatever.
Right. As I always say, chunk the deuces. We will catch all of you on the flip side. Thanks for joining us, and we hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their hump day.